Bergie, Borgie, Bergie. Hello and welcome, everyone. I had to start out the show with my Swedish impression, which McKenna so lovingly states that. What did you say today on Instagram? That we need all the help that we can get on this show.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we broke you the last live stream.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I had a stroke and just started talking as the Swedish chef from Muppet Show, which was great. Which plenty of people got a show out of, and some humorous laughter, especially McKenna and I, because it was so ridiculous. Why was I doing that the other night? Oh well.
Apparently you did it 4 times too. Like it wasn't just once or twice, it was 4 times.
It was 4 times, and in succession like that. Like the way that you cut, if you guys haven't seen it, go to Instagram, either McKenna's page or the Rebellion Expeditions page. But yeah, the edit that you did where it's like back to back, I was like, why do you still hang out with me? Why do you still do this show with me? But
can tell ya.
Yeah, I
just for the entertainment.
Exactly, it perplexes me. It still to this day perplexes me, and we are on episode 6.
Wow.
I mean, and that's just from the Monday Misadventures. We've had plenty of encounters before then too. But let's see who is in the chat tonight, and then we'll we got a really good variety, of different topics tonight that I think just spans the spread of fun, politics, religion, maybe not so much religion, but kind of everything, entertainment. And so yeah, I'm excited to get into all, but let's see who's here. Legion of Comics, what's up, brother? Salmon Outdoors, my man. And A Troubled Green, I am so jealous that you get to that you are watching the extended cut of The Fellowship. I believe Gary is going to be doing a Sunday stream. I don't know if it's this Sunday or next Sunday, but there's an anniversary, and I'm sure you're aware, the 20th anniversary of when The Fellowship of the Ring was released. And so I will be watching that soon. I'm sorry you couldn't be here. But yes, you got a wrench. A lot of I figured out how to give people wrenches and to make them mods on the show. So you
only
were
took
so
6 episodes.
It only took 6 episodes and like 20 different live streams just on my channel to figure out how to do that. But thank you to Brightest Day who figured or helped me do that. So Dave, my man, I have a story for you, man. Real quick before we get into some of the news. But thank you. Yes, please hit the. I almost said please hit the smash button, but please hit the like button. I'm going to start talking in Swedish again.
Yep, here we go. Off to a good start, per usual.
Yeah, right. Zax, hello, my man. Thank you for being here. And Klobby, hail, my friend. You are the best, man. Hey, we are going to do that stream soon. Don't worry. We got plenty of time. Superman will always be there for us. So Klobby and I are planning on doing a stream here. But let's see. So yeah, Harley. So I was going to say, I know, better late than never. True. We were a little late tonight, but that's all right. There we go. Please clobber the like button. I like that. So McKenna, I don't know if you will get a kick out of this or not, but back in my Marine Corps days, which wasn't long ago, it was a couple months ago, I smoked like a freaking chimney. I'm talking a pack probably every few days. I wasn't a pack a day guy, but a pack every few days, just sucking them down. Steve, hello, my man. Good to see you here. Thank you for stopping by. And so let's see. Dave says, McKenna, you look amazing. Thank you for bringing some class to this shit show. She always looks so good. That's why you guys don't understand that the reason why I bring her on the show, she's well educated, she speaks incredibly well, she looks fantastic. I'm just here to kind of funnel the madness, into something cohesive, and she helps do that with me. So
I have to say though, I do have reindeer antlers for Christmas. That had I known you were going to be Santa today, I'd probably down the class a little bit. They have the little bells though, so you guys might not be able to hear me on the mic.
Well, you've definitely outdone yourself with outdone everyone with that background. I mean, that is just amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I can only hope to live up to your standards of the Christmas background that you bring.
So I cheated a little bit though, because I have like a dozen side gigs. One of them is decorating homes for Christmas. So I have a little bit of practice under my belt. So this one was pretty easy. It took a couple days. It was pretty easy to put up.
And you know what? I think everyone is agreeing. It looks fantastic. I am amazed at the talent that you have with. It's almost like, because it's like interior design, but also just the decorative process. Some of the pictures that you've shown me are just amazing. And do people hire you like specifically through like Instagram, or are these people that already know you that have used you in the past to hire for decorations? Do you have to go to Hobby Lobby and buy all the decorations for them, which would be like my dream?
So
yeah,
fun.
how do you normally do that?
Yeah, so it's client by client. It's a little bit different, but word of mouth is golden for this business. Yep. So usually it ends up being, friends of friends that kind of pass on the word. So starting out, it's basically just you're pumping out your information, you're making sure that people know that you exist on Instagram or wherever, and now it's kind of just picked up around locally. However, when I move locations, it's starting from scratch again. So it's, hi, by the way, I exist again. Here's what I do. And you just have to get it going again.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I could imagine that having moved so much, granted, I didn't move maybe the first 15, 16 years of my life until I got out of high school and then went to college and then military. And then I was really all over the place. But for you traveling and moving and adventuring so much, I feel like those conversations would happen a lot. Just reintroducing yourself.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I've spent a good portion of my life not knowing a soul around me and just kind of having to hit the restart button over and over.
Well, you do a great job of it. And thankfully, here on Monday Misadventures, everyone knows you. And you're like the biggest star here, which is great. So, speaking of which, Clobby says, we all appreciate that you brought a beautiful lady on as a guest. She is awesome. I know, right, Clobby? I also have, for you guys that are looking forward to a video this week from me, I have Steph from My Nerdy Home coming on, and we're talking comic books, relationships, all types of really interesting topics that we're going to cover. And she's another one that's like, I'm blessed to have such really cool guests, and also ladies, because we do not discriminate here. I could have a ton of white males on or whatever, which everyone doesn't like for some reason. But we're naturally, genuinely, and authentically diverse here, and that's what we do. Wayne Floyd says, Santa Max, is McKenna trying to supplant you getting Santa ink vibes here? No. She would never think of such a thing. However, or would she? I don't know. I don't know what her ulterior motive is. Maybe she is.
Time will tell. It's world domination, one channel at a time.
Yes. We've seen what Rebellion Expeditions has become. It's become the McKenna Show. And now my own channel has been taken over by McKenna fans. This is slowly becoming a mutiny.
No, the Santa hat, that was all your own. That was not my idea.
Yeah, that was definitely me, just being a dork. And I figure, I already have been speaking like the Swedish chef. Why not put a Santa hat on and look like a dork too? So
there you
go. Let's see. Steve says, Max, you're starting to learn from Jay. Dave says the Fellowship certainly needs more shield maidens. Absolutely, man. Now, the Fellowship of the Ring, Lord of the Rings, bro, Arwen. Oh my God, McKenna, see, we're doing it again.
Here we go. I'm ready.
Lord of the Rings again. Here we go. Arwen literally conjures a wall of water to take out nine ring wraiths. Need I say more?
Those are some high standards for us to live up to here.
That's the toxic masculinity in me speaking. I'm sorry. So the Fellowship of the Ring, I don't think needs any more shield maidens. I think in that film we get plenty of really strong women. In our fellowship here on YouTube, I think we definitely do have a good mixture of men and women that are both really intelligent and very strong. Zach says MVP brings the ladies, but so does Clobby. Absolutely.
Ooh.
Well, Clobby probably more than I do, but so to get back to initially what I was saying, because that's just what happens here. We divert off into crazy little things.
In the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, we're 11 minutes in, and we haven't even covered one topic, but that's okay because you guys are the best in the chat and those who are rewatching this on the replay for hanging with us and sticking with us, and that's what's so much fun. But I was going to say, Dave, when I was in the Marine Corps, like I said, smoked like a chimney. That was just something I did to get through the day. It was something to help with all of the chaos, and it was also just something to bond with some of the guys. Like, hey man, you wanna smoke? Yeah, cool. Let's go outside. 15 minutes. You talk, you hang out, you smoke, and then you go back in and get more work done. I really didn't feel the need to once I got out of the Marine Corps, so kind of fell by the wayside. And thankfully, I don't have a very addictive personality, except for when it comes to comic books, and then I'll just purchase everything.
And
yes, that too, but that is more so just because I don't feel like it's an addictive personality. I feel like it's just psychopathic.
Mm-hmm.
I will just continually talk about it or whatnot.
That was my word for it, but I wasn't going to say it. So,
well, thank you. That's why you're so kind. Hey, let me just say a huge congratulations to Jay for hitting 50,000 this week. That is so freaking cool, man. Like that is such a great number, and this is just the start. I mean, we're going to see you hit 100, 200, 300,000 here within the coming months and year. So, unfortunately, I stole your Santa hat, but you are still the king of the Indiana Jones hat. I will never take that from you. So,
actually, Jay, I'm curious. How many Indiana Jones hats do you have? I think I've seen 2. But I imagine it's like a wall of a collection.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's like in his closet, he probably has just a row or a rack of just all Indiana Jones fedoras or something.
Yeah.
But Ash put me in my place. She says Arwen technically doesn't do that in the books, and Ash, you'd be right. I mean, as the film, talking about like the film, because it's going to be the 20th anniversary of the film coming out. I was just speaking in regards to that. But yes, you are absolutely right. And thank you for bringing that up. And Drunk says only 4 more years to get that 60K. No, dude, that's not, that ain't happening. You are going to be, you are absolutely going to be hitting that milestone much sooner than, what did you say, 4 years? So
yeah, it's going to be fun to see where Jay is, just like at the end of 2022, because even since I've known him, it's been so much fun to see just how things have exploded even more. So a year's a long time. It's gonna be fun to see where he goes.
Yeah, like I said, man, this is just the beginning. And even for McKenna, I'm looking forward to when McKenna either starts her own channel or decides to do her thing, maybe a side project. Who knows? But she's going to blow it because she's already built a fan base. You know what I mean? So second she starts her channel, it's just going to blow up. It's going to be awesome. So
yeah, I credit that all to Jay. This isn't me like following Jay around on the trails. No, all Jay.
He also said, and McKenna, I know you mentioned this last time we talked a bit. You guys got to hang out with Ash and her family.
Yeah.
And it was so rad because you actually saw them again in the airport. So
yeah,
that's super cool, fantastic. Man. Yeah.
Yeah, Ash is right now dealing with more mandates in New York. So prayers for her and her family because they've been going through a lot in that crazy city.
Yeah, that if New York doesn't kill you, these hikes with McKenna will is essentially Jay saying. But yes, seriously, to Ash, to everyone who's in New York right now, who is fearing for what's going to happen to their livelihood, to their freedom of choice, freedom of speech. For those of you who don't know, the governor or the mayor, I don't know. I didn't actually look at the article. I just heard the newsline. So you can help me out, McKenna, if you've heard something different. But I heard that the governor of New York basically issued a vaccine mandate on, from ages 5 to 11, you have to have a vaccination to enter any type of restaurant establishment or any type of store or anything. And then from 11 up, there is a mandate now that you must, it will be required, it is required for any type of work or anything associated with like living in New York. So
lunatic. Okay, I say we all move to Florida with Jay. We all go party with Jay. Land of the free.
I'm going to Texas. I can go to Florida.
Yeah.
Either way, I think you can't go wrong with either one. Someone was actually saying they were a little afraid of having Texas become purple. And I was like, you will see hell freeze over before Texas becomes purple. There are too many people there. Now, granted, there is like, Austin is much more blue. But I couldn't imagine that, because when I was there, when I was in college in Texas, I like most of my friends were from there, and all of them were like, dude, one day we're going to secede and we're going to be our own United States of America. And I was like, get the hell out of here. No, you're not. Like, that's a joke, man. It's funny to joke about, but now I'm like, y'all might have been serious like 8 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
10 years ago. So
my mom grew up at least partially in Texas, and Texans are tough. They're tough as they come.
Yeah. That's true. It's 100. I love my Texas family, and they show true strength and compassion. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Steve says, Max, we need to get you monetized and into the thousands of followers too. Well, hopefully pretty soon, man. It's just been really fun to see this channel grow and meet people and like make videos and have a good time. So I'll hit that. I'll hit 1,000, get monetized. It'll be great, but there's no rush. We're just having a good time here, man. We're, hopefully that'll be in the near future, but we'll see. The lovely Sherry, I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, but hello and welcome, and thank you for being here. Yeah, no, I'm so glad to see new people coming by and saying hi. And Ash says it was nice hanging out with everyone. So she is, of course, talking about the meetup, the Florida meetup. So yeah, speaking of meetups, this December 16th, I will be in San Diego seeing Spider-Man with Gary from Nerdrotic and a couple other people that want to swing by, and they're all going to come with us to go see the movie. But afterwards, we'll be going to a nearby karaoke bar. So I'll give you guys the address for that. If you guys want to come down and meet us, if you're in California, if you're in San Diego and you want to come down, have some beers, talk about Spider-Man, hang out with Gary and I, and a ton of other people from the fellowship, I would definitely recommend coming down. I think John, the creative blue collar guy, will be there, which is going to be cool. McKenna, I think you interviewed him, right?
Yeah. So he was actually telling me about the meetup. It sounds so fun. I live on the wrong side of the states, for the record. Like, I either need to be in Florida where it's like everyone's there and then I can hop easily from the Orlando airport to wherever. But I'm just kind of like in the middle of nowhere, honestly. So yeah, it sounds like so much fun.
It would be great to have you here, but I think we're going to do another one in January in Texas. Oh. And that one I think is much more like doable for us.
Yeah.
It might be our first time meeting up, I think. If you and I actually meet for a hike or something. Yeah,
it's about time. Plus, Texas is far more free than California. So I can imagine me right now, and I don't know how you guys are going to do it, in the theater in California. I would be so mad about all the mandates. So it's probably for the best I'm up there.
So for theaters, there's a theater here in Southern California that I've gone to, and it doesn't enforce anything. I won't
Okay,
say
cool.
which one. So that's
Yeah.
been fantastic. I don't know San Diego as well though. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm interested to see what that looks like. But I know
Yeah.
for like people who are in New York, like Ash, excuse me, she says the vac mandate for all private sector workers, any children 5 to 11 needs to vaccinate for entertainment, movies, indoor dining, extracurricular activity, motherfucker, extracurricular activity. Not you, Ash. I'm saying, in general. So I want to go outside and play with a football and play
Yeah.
sports. Oh, here's my Vax card to play outside for extracurricular activities, or I want to go to the gym to get healthy. Like, dude, that is absolutely insane. If you guys watched Crowder this morning, one of the guys on there, Gerald, he was talking about how, in his opinion, it's just pure evil. It's a lot
Yep.
of people are really upset about this new mandate, and it's scary. It definitely is scary. I
Did you
wish I could speak more intelligently about it, but go ahead, McKenna.
did you see what I posted about Australia? I think it was on my stories yesterday.
I don't know if I did or not.
Some of their, and I don't know what keywords will get you kicked off of YouTube, speaking of commies, but Australia, some of their camps that they have right now, there was a video from the inside of one of them that a young woman took. And she did an interview about some of the things that are happening within that camp. And it's crazy. So I won't go into details right now, but I'll send you the link.
They did show that clip on Friday Night Tights the other night with Nerdrotic and the Geeks and Gamers crew and everyone. So I did see that, the one where they're like, all right, well, if you go over to this fence, that's what was it, $4,000 fine? $5,000?
And it was, here's your yellow line. Like, do not cross this yellow line unless you're doing laundry.
And then they go, and then she goes, until we come back, or even though we're negative, right? Or she said something like that. And he goes, well, there's still a very high risk. So it's like, wait, so we're not even sure that they have tested positive or not.
Right, exactly. The whole thing is insane. And like we've seen throughout history, that just doesn't end well. So I don't know.
I'm super, and this is why it's tough, because you and I have very similar beliefs, very similar religious beliefs, political beliefs, ideologies, and whatnot. So I really want to see what the other side of the coin is. You know what I mean? For those of you who watch this and maybe believe something else or have seen this video, I wonder what people on the left think. I wonder if they're going, this is a bad look. This is scary. I don't know if this is something that we should be pushing, or if they're trying to defend it or not. I don't know. I don't have many people in my sphere of influence that have that type of ideology. So I really would be interested to hear what people say on the other side of things, because it's frightening.
Being a climber, I know some people who are kind of moderate left, and quite a few of them now are saying, wow, this is getting scary. And it's interesting because those are a lot of the people that originally, when I started talking about, hey, freedom, it's about time you stand up for freedom, they were some of the first that kind of showed up in my DMs. But now talking with them at the gym or wherever, they've been mentioning, wow, this is really getting scary. So having said that, the extreme, the far left, I mean, absolutely not. They don't care. But the moderate left, it seems to me there's more people generally waking up.
Yeah. To hear camps, you know what I mean? Like, camps doesn't sound good in any form or fashion. Like, band camp, maybe, because maybe you're a 17-year-old kid and you're gonna kiss your high school crush or something at band camp, whatever.
The fact that your brain just made that leap.
Well, because I'm trying to think of a good way of talking about camps, but any other camps that we know of have always been bad in the history of the world, not just the US, like the world.
Yeah.
Any type of camp is slavery, is oppression. is everything that people hate and that we want to stop. But in this case, hey, good job. You know, it's like, what on what planet, you know? Wild.
It's crazy.
Let's see. Dave says a lot of the folks I talk to think it's all fine and have jabbed their toddlers, are looking forward to boosters, but people are waking up. So, and you know, Dave, that I think as far as can I say vaccinations on YouTube? I don't care.
You should be able to. You should be.
Yeah, right. I should be able to, right?
But you know.
But yes, thank you, McKenna. For vaccinations, I don't think it's an issue if people want to vaccinate themselves. The issue comes with, so you see that person who's in the camp, right? How do you feel about that? You know what I mean? That's where I get scared, because I wonder how those people feel about that. I have no problem. I know a lot of my friends that are like, you know what? I just took it because I think it's going to make me safer when I go see my family. Cool, man. I love that. Like, that's what you should feel the freedom and have the opportunity to do. But if you don't, like, that's okay too. I remember, I put out a short, like, minute-long video or something a few months ago, basically saying my thoughts that if you wanted the vaccine, that's great. If you don't want it, that's great. You know, either way is, we have to come together and understand that that's okay. But I got a lot of hate for that video, which was wild, because I was like, I feel like that's such a very basic, just middle of the ground type of thought process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even still, I got a ton of downvotes, which I can still see, by the way, YouTube. I know you took them away for public content creators, but I can still see that shit, because that comes up on my personal feed, even though no one else can see it. So ridiculous.
See, okay, so it's crazy, because I used to play soccer growing up, and one of the things that my dad, who was my coach, taught me was you have to get in there and you have to not be afraid to get hit, and you have to not be afraid to hit back. And so it was a very competitive, I played defense, so I was always competitive and I loved it. And so it was just like, you know, get your hands dirty, you know, learn how to get knocked down and stand back up, and learn how to actually, you know, also play offense. And so it's crazy now watching these parents raise their kids to be so soft. Like, they're raising doormats and they're raising sheep who will jump off the ledge after whoever they decide they want to, you know, follow. So that's crazy. It is going to be really, really interesting in like 20 years to see some of the kids who have been raised during this time, just to see where we are with that, you know. Crazy.
It worries me, because, and I don't know if this is, you know, this kind of relates to what you're saying, McKenna, but it's very simply, the people who should be having kids aren't, and the people who shouldn't are. You know what I mean?
True.
That's what is like those who, I'll just put it like that.
That's a good summary. I haven't thought about it from that angle, but that's true.
The more of my friends that I would say, you would be a great father, or you would be a great mother, or you would be, you know, this would be a power couple, or your kid would be wonderfully and beautifully loved. They're like, no way are we having kids. And I'm like, oh my God, that is kind of sad, because it doesn't leave much hope for the rest of people, you know what I mean? And then those who are like,
that's true.
Like, can't even survive for themselves, are like, we popped out our fourth kid. I don't really know how we're gonna, you know, financially do it, but, you know, I guess whatever. And it's like, oh, that poor kid. It's like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Idiocracy, but there's it's very, very similar to what we have going on today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I should probably do on my Instagram is set up a poll where people can tell me what movies I should watch. So that way, like, over Christmas, I actually have some movies to catch up on.
Well, first and foremost, the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition will take you throughout the holidays. So don't worry about anything else. Let's just get you through those, and then we'll start adding more on. So
I set myself up for that one. Okay, question though. Yeah. So this is going to show you again, like, how little I know about this. But okay, the movie The Hobbit. Do you have as much love for that as you do like the other movies?
No, the amount of love and reverence that I have for the first Lord of the Rings trilogy is it is unwavering. It
Yeah.
is abounding. It is the type of love that God shows his people. It is absolutely, it will never criticize it. Oh well, I guess I shouldn't say that because I will criticize Lord of the Rings. But yeah, it's one of the most beautiful thing, if not the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The Hobbit movies, I know what happened, and so I understand why they weren't received as well.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it was because of corporate handlings.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson had an envisionment as a director, as a creative. He wanted to make it one movie. Corporate handler said, "We got so much money from your Lord of the Rings trilogy. You got to make this book, 3
Mm-hmm.
movies, and you got to make it a big battle, and you got to make it all this stuff." And he did. He followed. Obviously, he has to do what these guys tell him to do. But I don't know. It was still. I think it was still. They were okay films.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like Star Wars. Like the original trilogy
Mm-hmm.
will
Yeah.
never waver. It will always be, perfect. And then the prequel trilogy is like, eh. And then this third, this trilogy was just absolute garbage, which is where most of the fans have come out of the woodwork and said, what is going on with our entertainment? But
Yeah.
um,
So what about okay, so the first 3, what I've been picking it out as we go, and I'd be curious to see in the chat as well what you guys think, but top characters from Lord of the Rings that you are just like, these are the characters that I want to emulate, these are the characters that I love.
yeah. Yeah, if you guys, for anyone in the chat or anyone watching the replay here, leave it in the comment section below. Who are some of your favorite Lord of the Rings characters and why? Because everyone can say, "Oh, Aragorn," or "Oh, Legolas," or Gandalf, but why? That's the really important part, because there's so many different reasonings that I've heard over the years that like each person resonates with a different character for a different reason, and it's
Yeah.
so that's why it's like I'm getting excited about it again. Sorry. I don't know if I've had enough coffee for this. But yeah, Zach, I agree. It was a profit-driven disaster. Like I said, I appreciated it for what it was, but going into the films, I think as long as you understand it was made for corporate minds to, get their hands on it, then, you can see it for what it is.
Yeah.
A2D2, what is going on, girl? Thank you for showing up. She goes, "Hey, Max and McKenna, you both helped me power through my Monday workouts." Fuck yeah, dude. So I can get to your stream. So thank you for the motivation. My pleasure. Thank you for being here, and have a great workout. And hopefully, or if you've already done your workout, hopefully it was a good one. But I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. You're an idiot, dude. But I love it. Personally, I like Hagrid. For those of you who are Harry Potter fans and Lord of the Rings fans, you get that's like a geek joke. You know what I mean? Like Hagrid's not Lord of the Rings. He's Harry Potter. Okay.
Yeah, let me and I'm going to set the record straight once and for all with Salmon. He and I, we know each other. We're good friends. And he keeps me laughing. So anything that he says, believe like 20% of it. The rest is completely a joke. And it's hilarious. I'm seeing like in the chat, people are like, are you serious?
Yeah, right. He's our designated troll, though, so it works. It's great.
It's great.
However, he does impart wisdom every now and then. Like this quote, he says, "The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, while the stupid ones are full of confidence." I like that. That's very, very insightful. Thank you, my man. That's very interesting. It looks like you've already got some people saying, Dave says Sauron, he was a visionary and needs to make a comeback. What, destroying the entire world and taking Middle Earth for himself? I don't know about that, man. Well, maybe Earth, but maybe not Middle Earth. Gimli is probably my dude. Gimli is the man. He is fantastic. One of the most unapologetically just brutal and lovable characters in the trilogy. They're totally watchable. I agree, the Hobbit films, but I wouldn't purposefully watch them again. Yeah, absolutely. Steve says I'd go with Gandalf because he could be commanding, powerful, and incredibly wise while also being kind, thoughtful, and having a sense of humor. I love that a lot, man. Gandalf is essentially, someone was talking about, I think it was Gary who was talking about it today, like, who wins, Dumbledore or Gandalf? Gandalf wins 100% of the time because he's not a man who has magic and wizard powers. He is literally, like, in the books, he is a angel, like an angelic being who has been sent by one of the gods in Middle Earth to come down and right the wrongs of these evil powers. So it's a beautiful explanation. I don't want to go too far into it, but yes, Gandalf is a beautiful, beautiful, really well done character. Sam, his devotion was unbreakable. Galadriel for her stoicism. Dude, Sam is the unsung hero of those. Aragorn, Samwise, and Merry. Zach says, "I'm a straight male, but I think I like Legolas." Everyone has a crush on some of the male characters in Lord of the Rings. It's totally fine. But yeah, because of that question, McKenna, you've got everyone going nuts. So yeah. I will get back to it at one point. We'll have to have, like, maybe, you know what? Let's do this. Maybe next week, in lieu of the 20th anniversary, we can have you watch The Fellowship of the Ring, and we'll all come back here and we'll talk about it. Something like that. Yeah,
it'd be fun to do a whole stream on it. So I'm dying to hear your top 3 or 4, like whatever your top are.
I would have to really, like, I'd have to sit down and, like, pray and meditate and, like, go on a couple walks, rethink like life, and then come to my conclusion of these are my favorites.
So we'll give you a week for that then.
Okay, thank you for being so kind and generous. But yeah, if you guys want to see that, if you guys want us to talk about Lord of the Rings next week or whenever the 20th anniversary is, I believe it's the 11th. So yeah, it's coming up. We'll talk about that. So, I was going to, now it's been almost 40 minutes and I still never even told the story that I was going to tell earlier. But to basically sum it up, I smoked a ton of cigarettes while I was in the Marine Corps. I stopped. It wasn't a big deal. I was never addicted to it. I had my first cigarette in probably like months, maybe like 4 or 5 months that I've had in a while. And it was amazing. It was so good.
Wait, is this like today? You're saying today?
It was last night. It was last night. And I was on cloud 9. I forgot just the habitual motion. It sounds bad, but like when you feel the carcinogens going into your lungs, it's fantastic. There's nothing like it.
So wait, hold on. I have to backtrack because we started this story 40 minutes ago. So we did, was this? How is this story relevant? Like, what was I've been waiting for the punchline to the story.
The relevance of it was that I wanted to tell Dave. That was pretty much it.
So. Okay, gotcha. On track now.
But let's get into some of the topics that I wanted to go over. Like I said earlier, Nerdrotic and Nerdrotic meetup this or next Thursday, December 16th. We'll be in San Diego. Look on the Nerdrotic Instagram page for more information. I would love to see as many people as I could there. It would be awesome if you guys came out and join us for Spider-Man and drinks after. So that's the Nerdrotic meetup. The other thing, this Saturday, I'll be on Comic Aficionados with Wes from Thinking Critical. It is one of the bigger comic book streams here on YouTube. So if you guys want to come watch me this Saturday, I'll be on Thinking Critical's channel for his stream. The panels on those range anywhere from comic book pros, where they're like in the industry, to comic book fans, to new writers that are doing Indiegogo projects and Kickstarter projects. So it's I'm extremely honored to be on the show. And so if you guys want to come Saturday morning, I would love to see you guys there. But the first thing, so now that that's out of the way, first thing I wanted to go over tonight was a good story, a story of hope, a story of happiness, a story of creativity. And let me go ahead and share this with everyone. So this is a mural that was completed by, I want to say, a 13, 14-year-old girl. What was it? It was
Yeah,
something
she was young.
insane. She's like
Yeah.
young. And it's beautiful. It's completed in Marion, Illinois. And I'll just play the video for you guys so that you can see this, and let me know if you can hear it and everything. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and we'll talk about it once the video's over.
A 14-year-old girl created quite the paint in Marion. Many leaders with 3 to 9 art started painting a mural on the side of a building after a simple request. 8 weeks later, she completed her artwork with honoring military and first responders. She said she was really inspired to do something for those who protect our country.
It means a lot to me personally because, well, veterans have been through my family in generations, but I was very honored to be able to paint this.
If you would like to view the mural, you can find it at the corner of Court Street and West Jackson Street in Marion.
Dude, how cool is that? That thing is massive. Like that thing dwarfs her. What did you think about when you watched this? Did you, because I think I had sent this to you on Instagram or something. I forget.
Yeah, I think you sent it to me over DMs. So first of all, I'm just sitting here going, okay, she looks like she could be 12 to 14. Like she's very young. So that kind of skill is incredible. And I am so excited that this town put it to use on a public display like that, because I mean, what an incredible talent. And then the heart that she has for the people in this country who truly are making a sacrifice for the country, it's incredible. It blew me away personally.
It was cool to see, and I agree. It blew my mind. It blew me away initially because I was, well, first I was stunned that they would put up a mural like this, because you don't see many like this anymore. Most of the paintings, artwork, murals, whatever that have been put up as of late have been towards like social issues and social causes, whether that's, the Black Lives Matter movement or, abortion or COVID-19 stuff. It's all social and political issues that have been, muraled and put on these big walls. This has nothing to do with that bullshit. It's all just, here are people that are heroes, the people we want to honor, and we're putting it on this massive building on the corner of this street. And and the other thing that surprised me was it gave me hope for the future, because this young girl who, like you said, is what, probably 13, 14 years old. She's like putting did you guys see that fucking Marine Corps logo? That thing is it takes up the whole side of it was right behind her again.
Your girl quite,
because they've got police on there in a good light. I'm gonna mute this.
I would love to know the behind the scenes, the kind of prep that went into that, what kind of team it took to get that approved. Like it's an incredible feat. And
she did such a great job of hold on one sec. She does such a great job. There it is. Yep. Wait, no. Where'd it go? Yeah, now we're talking.
You're almost there.
And this is, yeah, I know, right? Okay.
I'm going to end up doing another clip of this, by the way, your camera committing suicide.
It does that from time to time, but hey, it's until I actually put some more money into this thing, or until I can actually make money from this thing, we're just going to have to go with the hard knock life for us. But she needs to be the what do you call it? She needs to be the hero of her own show, or like she needs to start getting some interviews or something. Because the other thing that I thought about this was like, it's not just, this little kid did like a nice mural for first responders. This shit is beautiful.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, like, it would take me hundreds of years to master that type of art skill.
Yeah, and she did the whole building. You know, it's not just one wall. She has the entire building decked out. So it's incredible.
She is truly like I said, when I watch this and I see young men and women who are doing stuff to honor those who have served, who are serving currently, who have died serving, that gives me hope for, hey, there might be something cool coming in the future. You know, like people are going to wake up to this kind of stuff. And she like unapologetically is like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? I painted this whole thing devoted to these people. You know, it's awesome.
It's great. I hope we see more and more of that. But honestly, it's interesting. And I know I've mentioned this a few times in past live streams, but as much of the insanity that we've seen, it really is bringing about young conservatives who are like, you know what? I love America. I love the people who protect it. And I'm going to actually speak up about it. So it is kind of cool to see how it's bringing up the other side as well.
Sorry, I was reading some of the comments here, and people are also really enjoying this mural, which is really cool. It looks like Salmon has to head out, unfortunately, brother. So, but thank you for stopping by as always. I know both McKenna and I really appreciate you being here. And yeah, Dave says the USMC emblem is bigger than she is. Dude, this whole thing is like, she must have had, I would assume she'd have help, but if not, like, you're talking about a gigantic ass ladder, maybe even a forklift, you know, like gallons and gallons of paint and you know, painting materials and stuff. Like, it's just incredible.
I wonder how long it took her. I don't think that they mentioned that in this interview.
They didn't, but that would be such an incredible topic or a question that I would love for her to answer. Because it's like, oh, I did this in a day, or oh, this took me a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. It would make sense if it took her a while, but
and she's so nonchalant about it too. Like, she's like, no big deal, you know.
Yeah, she seems so humble.
Yeah.
Salmon goes like the mural of George Floyd portrays Jesus. Like, there are objective, because you know, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to put the big hateful quote on my YouTube videos and go, this sucks, or like, this idiot doesn't blah blah. I'm not like an outrage kind of guy. At least I don't think I am. So,
I'm sorry, says the guy in the Santa hat. No, I would say you're the furthest thing from that.
Well, thank you. Wearing a Santa hat has nothing to do. Well, apparently it has something to do with white supremacy.
Just the irony cracks me up.
Of what?
No, you're just like, it's just so sweet. So you're sitting there in a Santa hat, and you know, you're a very kind personality. So no, you're the furthest thing from the outrage personality.
Well, thank you. Yeah, as I sit here with this goofy ball swinging around my face.
With this like sweet Santa girl hat on your screen.
Yeah. It's an innocent little, you know, awesome, creative, you know, mind who did something so sweet for our nation, for our country. Me with an idiot little Santa hat and comic book nerd stuff around me. And I'm going, I hope I'm not an outrage guy.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Carry on.
No, and that's what I was going to say. Like, I hope I'm not that. You know, sometimes I can definitely be very driven in my ideals and my thoughts, and like, I'm passionate about what I think about, but I never want to spew any type of like hatred towards something. Yeah. So with George Floyd, I know a lot. That was, I think, a huge reason for why most people started to join the Black Lives Matter movement. So with that being said, if they want to do a mural for him, that's not my realm. I have no reason to speak on that, other than if people start saying that I am racist, or I am a bigot, or that I am a white supremacist, then I'll speak my mind on it. But until then, they can do their thing. But once they start disrespecting me, disrespecting my friends, my family, my country, that's a different story. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
in this
well,
case, but yeah, go ahead, McKenna. Sorry.
Sorry, I just want to add. So the ironic thing about that, though, is that the extreme left, what they don't realize is the only reason that they can paint stupid murals like that is because they have freedom of speech.
Yes.
Because we have a constitution that protects their freedom.
Yes.
So the fact that they are trying to strip away their own freedom, again, the irony of that is just crazy to me.
It really is the hypocrite or the hypocrisy from that area of people, of individuals that continually do things that are constitutionally like sound. They can speak their mind, they can protest, they can do all this stuff. And we'll get to that later. One of our topics is about protesting and what that means and what that looks like. However, once it becomes unconstitutional, that's when it becomes illegal. And you know, yeah, when people are doing these murals, they are utilizing and like succeeding in using their right to speak freely and do that. So, like you said, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
that it's so hypocritical, I guess. Clobby says, this is a very inspiring story. This girl gives me some hope for her generation. Right, dude? You don't see it a lot, but when you do see it, you got to highlight it. And that's why I brought it on here, because no other news source is talking about this. You know what I mean? Like, I typed this in on YouTube. Like, I typed in Maddie Dieters. I typed in Mural, like, Illinois Mural. I typed in all kinds of different things. I typed in the news channel. I couldn't even find it on the news channel. So no one is talking about this article or this video. I literally had to go back to where, like, the original news source on the news website, as opposed to searching it on YouTube. And thankfully the news website had it. But yeah, I was just like, why is this not being talked about more? It's such a beautiful story. But yeah.
I'd be curious also what search engine you guys use, like, in the chat, because I know right now even search engines are deleting some of their information. I won't go into this either because this will definitely get you kicked off YouTube. But there was a story in particular that I was searching on a search engine recently, and that story had been deleted and literally said, we have temporarily deleted this story. So I'd be really curious, like, to find news like this, what search engines people are using.
As far as, like, what, Google, YouTube?
Yeah, Google, or there's some others out there that are smaller, obviously. Okay. But some friends of mine have been trying different search engines to see if more news like this is actually coming out. Yep.
Yeah, that would be some. I'm not as tech savvy enough to do that, but I think that would be really cool to see, or very enlightening, I guess, to see what search engines are actually utilizing the truth, instead of what the message is supposed to be pushing or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Dave says, my new Lord of the Rings hero is Maddie Dieters. She should be in the new Lord of the Rings show. She would outshine everyone, rightfully so. And Soul Assassin says, can I get America and a fist bump from MVP? Absolutely. America. Absolutely. Hey, it wasn't my Swedish chef accent, so if you want to clip it, it's much more relevant. It doesn't sound like I'm having a stroke. But
it really was golden putting all those clips together.
Yeah. I'm sure you were just getting a kick out of that. Going through
I was dying laughing.
Oh, God. Seriously, it's like, I normally have never really been one to outwardly make fun of myself, but this I think the stream has been really fun because I do that a lot now. Yeah. like self-deprecation is very freeing, I think, healthy self-deprecation, and it's very fun. And if it's at the expense of other people laughing and having a good time, dude, it's very fun and just fulfilling. So
I'm so glad I can help bring that out in you.
No, I'm glad that I can give you some laughs, apparently.
I mean, if you keep up with the Swedish accent, then absolutely. But seriously, if anyone has not seen that clip, it's on my Instagram story still. I cannot tell you how close I was to posting it as a post, like a permanent, beautiful post, but I didn't push it.
You know, I wouldn't even be upset if you did. Well, maybe I would a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's better than me being on here and like, I don't know, trashing or like throwing a bunch of obscenities. And like, the Swedish Chef is very wholesome and spans a broad audience of people. And it makes people laugh, so why not? Dave wants it to be a permanent post, but we'll see. That'll be up to McKenna. I'll let her be the ultimate judge of that decision. But to sum this up, we're reaching the hour mark, and to sum this first topic that I wanted to discuss, Maddie Dieters. I don't think you are watching this right now. However, if anyone knows her, if anyone knows this news source or where this mural is, let me just say thank you. It is so humbling, and it's really like it brought so much excitement and joy to see something like this come to life. Excuse me. It's just something you don't ever see on the news or on anything for that matter. YouTube news, Facebook, Instagram. It wouldn't be on TikTok, that's for sure. But you know, this poor girl is probably going to be made fun of, you know, or she's going to be called a Trump supporter, which apparently is a awful thing, you know. Like, just because she wants to support her country, she wants to support her family, she wants to support first responders. God forbid that this young girl do something that she loves and support people that she loves. And now she's probably going to be made fun of it for it. So,
but you know what? That's a very quick and easy way to weed out people in her life who have good enough character that should be in her inner circle versus, you know, kicked out.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it'll make things easier for her to determine these are my friends, these are not. And
it has for me personally.
Yeah, that's true. Even with your work, it's given you the determination, the very easy determination of saying, all right, well then I guess I will go do something else. So
yeah, I mean, it's been an upgrade, if anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, because now you have like real, genuine friends that aren't allies for a cause. They're just friends because they like you. You know, they love you.
Well, that's the crazy thing too, is, I mean, when you're actually standing and speaking in what you believe, and your words are actually aligned with what's going on the inside, you know, it's crazy how the people that show up in your life at that point, they really do just mesh with you in a way that you just don't see if you're, you know, hiding. So again, I know I've talked about this before, but with everything that's gone on the last couple of years, it's been an opportunity for people to, you know, do some really like deep cleaning of the people in their life.
And I think for some, there are commonalities that I think people can find, and maybe not necessarily have to burn those bridges. I think for some relationships, those bridges have to be burned. There's just no, unless there is some sort of commonality. Like I said earlier, people can't, I don't know, if they can't find something to bond over or love over, or like, as long as people are accepting the fact that no matter what happens, we just need to love others, or, you know, like, you know, be loving towards our God, our friends and family, other people, just in general, being tolerant of any type of, well, maybe not any type of behavior, but any type of race or culture, or, you know, whatever. That's just the simple fact of it. That's just the simple matter. And if people can't come to commonality terms on that, then yeah, of course they need to be out of your life, because those are hateful, bigoted people, which is another hypocritical thing that you were talking about, McKenna, is like,
or like you were saying, you know, anyone who would berate this girl for this mural, they don't need to be in her life anyway, in my opinion.
Exactly. Like, why would you? And granted, I haven't heard anyone spewing hate towards this. I just found this video the other day, but for those of that would be making fun of her, that's the problem. Everyone always says, or radicals will always say, well, you're just part of the problem. Or if you're not doing this, you're part of the problem. Well, I hate to say it. If you're spewing hatred towards a girl that wants to support her country, you're part of the problem. You're part of why this country isn't getting any better. So, that's, I don't know. I feel like that should be objective truth, but now who knows what that is anymore. Null Void, he says she deserves a large deposit for a college and education fund for that. Dude, seriously, you know what? I hope she got paid. She must have gotten paid. Well, I hope she got paid very well for this. Because hell yeah, if she could put that in a savings fund for college, that'd be dope. But considering the amount of talent that she has creatively, and how intelligent she is, I can already tell she's going to go places.
Hopefully she gets commission for other projects as well.
That would, there you go. That would be super rad. That would be cool.
I'd be curious to see if she has any kind of page or website going, with other projects. That's
a great, Hey, chat, if you guys want some homework, well, it looks like Dave might have actually done some homework already. He says he sent a link for us. 14-year-old spent 8 weeks painting murals. So, all right, well, 2 months, that's pretty substantial. But I would have easily thought like 5 to 6 months.
But, if it wasn't me, it would have taken a couple of years. So yeah.
And it was still, well, for me, it would have still looked horrible. At least McKenna, for you have some decorative and creative outlet, but
you and I would need the color and the numbers.
Yeah, she even did like if you look at the face back here of the Vietnam veteran, at least that's the era that it looks like. She's put shadow on the face from the Kevlar that he's wearing. How do you even see that as a big picture, as like a mural? I can barely do that on like a pad of paper. I can barely shade in, a little artwork here. So,
Careful, I'm going to ask you to test that on the live stream.
Oh man, I have
your best sketch.
Well, if we used crayons, I would most likely eat them all. So that might not be the best option. And Null Void, I agree, man. We need to encourage the youth like her. Soul Assassin coming in with the great quote: "Be excellent to each other. Be excellent to each other." Keanu Reeves, I like it. If you haven't seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, McKenna, that's what that is from. Just in case.
See, we need to add this to my list of homework for this week.
Of course. For let's just do for all of December, for the rest of the movies that are going to come out. Or
that would literally just be the top of the iceberg for me.
That's, hey, you got to start somewhere. So that's okay. Let's see. So that was really the big story that I wanted to cover first and foremost. Start us off on a great note, positive note, and actually have some hope driven into everyone. So we're about an hour in. For those of you who are watching on the replay or who are rewatching this from the live stream or whatnot, once again, thank you guys so much for being here. Hit the like button. If this is your first time, please consider subscribing. McKenna and I do this every single Monday, and we talk about topics like this that either are political or religious, or maybe just fun pop culture and entertainment. Like last week, we just had chat ask us questions, and we just answered those. So please consider, like I said, liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, and we'll move on to our next topic, which is, I don't know. So McKenna, this one's interesting because this one has been pummeled by the media. It has just been absolutely every single YouTube channel, every single media outlet has been talking about Santa Inc., which makes me wonder how you haven't seen it yet, I guess. which is actually kind of a good thing because it probably means that you've just been working and have been I don't know, I haven't heard about this dumb thing.
No.
Because I sit on my computer all day, so.
Well, I actually was going to ask, how long has it been in the media? Is this weeks or just more recently?
Let me bring up the old trailer here and
Yeah.
see. It was released on November 22nd. So about
Oh wow, so it's
2
been a
weeks.
while.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, a good amount of time.
Yeah, so
No,
I had my nose buried in the news constantly through most like the early part of November and then before that obviously. But I would say right before Thanksgiving, I was like, all right, it's time to hit the brakes and actually start focusing back on hikes a little bit. So I've switched over and I've been researching national parks and hikes and whatnot.
Ooh,
So yeah, that's
there you go.
probably how I
See,
missed it.
no, I love that. And it's funny that you say that because for all my comic book fans, for all my comic book lovers out there who are watching, I picked this up the other day, picked this bad boy up. McKenna, I don't know if you can see that or not, but excuse me. This is The Punisher, issue number 1. This was his first series back in 1985. So this is Bronze Age comic books. This was a 1 in 5 issue limited series, and it's a newsstand. So in the corner here, I don't know if you can see that barcode, but a newsstand issue basically means that it wasn't in a comic book store. It wasn't in any type of entertainment store. It was literally just found on your gas station shelf or a grocery store or like an actual newsstand. Yeah, like just a good old day, old, book. But a lot of those, because they were just on a newsstand in a gas station, they were crinkled up, they were wrapped up, they were thrown away. So it's super hard to find good condition newsstands. So I found this bad boy, and I've been just getting back into like old Bronze Age comic books, like 80s, 90s books, which is like bronze and copper. So I hate to nerd out. I'm sorry, McKenna. I didn't mean to overthrow the conversation. But so I resonate with you in that, that I haven't really been trying to follow too much on politics. I'm still staying in the loop, still keeping my mind sharp. But ultimately, like, doing this stuff is much more healthy. It's much more beneficial. You feel like so much more, I don't know, just enlightened and stuff. So for your hikes, what have you found? What have you been doing with that has really been like, because you said you were researching different routes, right? Or things you can do recently?
Yeah. So first of all, to add to what you were saying, you and I have talked about this a lot, but I don't think we've talked about it on a live stream, where it's kind of like for people who do have a passion for, not really like passion for politics, because I wouldn't say, at least for me, that it's like I'm so passionate about politics. It's more passionate about America and what happens, to our nation. So it is interesting balancing like staying informed versus not being driven crazy by what's going on. Because end of the day, news is news, sensational sells. And so it is, it's a balance. It's an informed patriotism and learning how to walk that line. So
ooh, I like that. I'm sorry, I just need to that was informed patriotism. That fucking slaps. I like that a lot.
PragerU runs with that. They did this whole like video on what informed patriotism is. It's like you don't need blind patriotism, you need informed patriotism.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. Yeah.
I like that. Well, thank you for sharing that, because I was like, ooh, damn, she bringing the fire tonight. Because that really, and it's a great point, because I misspoke when I said, oh, I'm trying to follow politics. No, politics are hypocritical. It's hateful. It's very dishonest, like all that stuff. But information, like you said, patriotic or being, what was it? I totally
informed
forgot already.
patriotism.
Yes, thank you. Informed patriotism. That is really the only reason why I continue to read these articles, do the research, try and stay up to date, because I love this country, and I think you would agree with that statement as well. But
yeah, absolutely. It's just when you understand freedom and you have a heart for this country and what it stands for, not only nationally but globally as well. You want to be informed. You want to understand what's going on at the large scale. But for me, it's been interesting not getting stuck in the weeds, on the minor scale. you can kind of have a bird's eye view without getting in the muck and the mire of it. So anytime that I realize, okay, wow, I really am getting sucked into the details of this that are just unnecessary for my day-to-day life, I take a step back and I go hike.
God, it's so smart. We could have a live stream on this topic alone, of just how to be able to separate yourself from the hatefulness and the destructiveness and the chaos of what is the world today, and so many things that we are passionate about have taken us out of that escapism that we need. So that I love that you have come to find that through hiking, through adventuring and traveling, which is why you do what you do, which is why you and Jay have such a great following there, because of that. People resonate with that. So I think that's really cool. Speaking of which, Zax wants us to do a series of hikes through national parks where we investigate missing people, which I guess is an issue at some of these parks. Now, I can't speak on that personally, but the only thing that I know about that, Zax, is when I was in 29 Palms, stationed out right by Joshua Tree for the Marine Corps, there were a couple instances where you would hear missing persons being found out on the trails, like half buried, like some person getting killed or some, person being murdered and then being dumped out on those trails because people think, oh, no one will find them out here. And it's like, you are so dumb. Yes, of course, you're going to find that. Like, it's a trail. It's a hiking trail. Right. People would walk through here,
That's crazy.
There's a body found in Joshua Tree National Park probably about a year or two ago.
Wow.
And it was, the guy who killed him was a Marine. So,
oh, wow.
But that's neither here nor there.
Let's not do that hike. I'm not
sorry,
so sure that's how I want to go down.
I was going to say, Zax, we may have to pass on that Netflix series. We'll stick with Rebellion Expeditions, where we just go on regular hikes and don't find
I like
bodies.
To live a long, happy hiking life.
Yes, exactly.
However,
Ash says,
sorry, I was just to say, when I worked in Yosemite for a few months, the first week that I got there, like literally maybe the first day or two, I jumped on a bus to do just kind of job introductions and learn what the heck I was doing there. And over the intercom, I heard missing persons, and they gave the description. And I was like, wow, I'm definitely in the wilderness now, for sure.
It looks like Missing 411. Have you heard of that before, McKenna?
Nope.
Are interesting to hear all the people who have gone missing in parks. Yikes.
Is that like a TV show, or is that a code that they use in the parks, like for the rangers?
It looks like Bruce Lombardo of Dick's Division. What's going on, brother? He says 411 books and films. Okay, so it's both are intriguing as hell to read about. The majority of the people who go missing are physically fit, college-educated people who are. What the hell? Okay, McKenna, we're definitely bringing firearms on our hikes.
Yep. So, is this like missing persons as far as homicide, or is this like missing persons just if they hike and get lost and don't make it? Or is it both? Because at least in my experience working at Yosemite and then traveling to national parks, that age group, it's typically, and I'm speaking like I'm no expert in this is just my observation, but it's typically people in that age group who go missing in a national park. They're usually in the backcountry. They did not inform people where they were. They did not give them a plan, or they veered off the plan. They're usually solo, and they just do something idiotic, and they end up getting stuck. That's just kind of like when I was in Yosemite and someone was missing, that was the case.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, actually, because there was a Marine Corps lieutenant, who was a friend of mine who actually was supposed to go on deployment with us. And he ended up going on the High Sierras, which was like his favorite place to hike. And McKenna, I know that's one of your favorites as well, right?
Yeah.
However, I guess he went right in the middle of December, so it was
Mhm.
just covered in snow. This guy was a very skilled hiker, skilled like journeyman, I guess you could say. He had all the equipment that he needed. He had the he like his life was hiking and running and adventuring. Dude went out, was supposed to meet his dad and a friend of his at like the halfway point, which I guess was like in Big Bear or something.
Yeah.
Never showed up, and we still haven't heard from him to this day. So
Wow.
yeah, what we're thinking is that most likely an avalanche must have covered him.
Okay.
But they sent a search party out of other Marines within the area. They sent a search party out of all kinds of rescue teams, and yeah, nothing. So they even waited until the
Wow.
summer, like when all the snow melted. Nothing. So there's a part of me that thinks that he might still be out there in a cabin somewhere and just wanted to get out of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but there's also a very good chance that he unfortunately passed away during that hike. So really incredible dude, one of the best, if not the best, one of the better Marines that I've ever met in my life. And it was super unfortunate that something like that had to happen.
Yeah.
But he was solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was by himself. He had no backup. He had no one with him. He told people what his route was roughly, but other than
Mhm.
that, I mean, so
Yeah.
have
It's
you?
always it's a tough
Go ahead.
call solo hiking because obviously there's another layer of, challenges with that.
Mhm.
And for men and women, like the outdoors is the outdoors. There are huge risks that you take depending upon the terrain you're in. I was looking up like the PCT through hiking solo for a woman, just what that looks like. A lot of women have done it. And the one bit of research that caught my eye was when you're hiking through, not really the suburbs, but the suburbs more or less of LA, some of the like drug dealers and the gangs and whatever stake out in the wilderness. And there were some articles written about, like, especially for women as a solo hiker on the PCT, that's one area to just be aware of. And my 2 cents on that is, like, again, I have no interest in going down that way. So, yeah.
Oh
But
my
some
God! So you're
women,
telling?
do it and they're fine.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even take the chance if I were you. But so you're telling me that like gangs would literally go out into these areas knowing that there was a large population of people going like hiking through this area to like jump and kill them or jump in and take advantage of them in some type of way?
I don't know if it's
Or
that strategized. I think it's more of
oh,
just in that area, local law enforcement is aware that, at least from what I read, they're aware that
mhm,
gangs or cartels or whatever are in that
mhm.
area. And so as they're
Okay.
trying to get away from the city,
Mhm.
they will go into the wilderness. So I
Okay.
was just reading some article that a solo female hiker had written, and she said, in this area, just be aware,
Yeah.
Now, as if you're hiking as a group, it's a little bit different. But if you are a solo hiker, it's just not only research the wilderness around you, but also research, like, if you're near a city, what does that look like?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great point. Well, if you come out to LA, there isn't really any forest or like any type of hiking trail except for maybe out in like towards Beverly Hills area. There's some pretty nice hiking trails, and you can go up and see the Hollywood sign and all that. And
Yeah.
those are beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard of anyone being or any gangs moving from LA out into the. I have heard of homeless though that
Mm.
have just completely taken over that area. LA, I was up there not too long ago, and it has now. I see more tents and tarps and shopping carts and tree brush and stuff created than I do homes and buildings. It is
Wow.
insane how much that place has just completely changed.
Now, have
Um,
you done the hike to the Hollywood sign? Have you been up there?
I've not actually. Have you done that?
What? No. I went up there in college. It's pretty fun. It's kind of like if you're in the
That's
area,
cool.
you have to do it.
I was gonna say, how the heck have you done it? And I haven't even done it. So,
Oh yeah, I
but
mean,
that's
like when I lived out in California, I hiked as much as possible.
um. So I just saw this. At what point do you think Max realizes he's being way too serious for a second?
I thought about that too. I was like,
Should
wow,
I
we're
take
talking
it
about
off?
hotels and drug addicts and
Yeah. Do I need to take the hat off? I mean, I have my other
No.
hat on just in case.
Oh, wow. Did not expect that.
Yeah.
Do you usually wear just like a series of hats underneath hats?
Well, I'm like a Russian nesting doll. You take off one hat and there's a smaller
Yeah.
one, and then there's a smaller one. And then until it's literally just a little skull cap beanie on my head or something. But yeah, I guess if we are going to talk about more serious issues, I'll take the meme hat off for you guys. But
which is funny because, okay, here's the problem. If you send me a plan for what we're going to talk about beforehand, I cannot stick with plans to save my life. Like, I will accidentally, subconsciously break the rules. So you cannot send me a list of anything beforehand.
Well, that would have been nice to know before I sent you the list for the show today.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was too late at that point anyway.
That's true. Well, I should instinctively know by now, knowing who you are. We've gone over this multiple times, and you've told me, you're like, hey, I don't do well with rules, so don't tell me what to do, because if you do, I will break them, like intentionally break them. Well, maybe not intentionally.
Sometimes it's not even intentional. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's Bruce Lombardo. Thank you so much for stopping by. He says, I'm headed to Darius's stream. God bless you and stay safe. You too, brother. Have a great night. Have fun over at Darius's stream. Let him know I say hi. Yeah, it's so since we're on the topic of hiking, because I know we wanted to cover that tonight, we'll do Santa Inc. afterwards. If you guys are still hanging out and you want to see McKenna's reaction to Santa Inc. To the trailer, because she has not seen it. But I think it might actually be a good segue to talk about hiking and stuff, because we're obviously talking about it right now. But we had a fan submission today that was talking about hiking versus like military hiking, or hiking for pleasure as opposed to hiking for survival. Like these are the different types of curricular activities that are talked about on this stream, or just like within our community or in our fellowship, especially like with Marines, because McKenna, I remember you sending me that meme of, what was it? It was like when people say, "Oh, I love to hike," and then it shows like all the Marines in a line, and they all have their pack and their rifle, and they're like miserable and they're sweating and they're bleeding or whatnot.
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I actually want to hear some of your most difficult hikes and what made them difficult, but also like rewarding, because I don't know if I've ever asked you that, or well, first of all, I'd love to know, but I think also chat would love to hear about some of your experiences. So
yeah, so well, it's kind of interesting talking to a Marine about my difficult hikes, because I'm sure that your experience hiking, as like whatever you guys did, sounds like just hell. So this is not going to be that difficult compared, because this is like, I choose into this, but I've started to post on my Instagram some of the past hikes that I've done while Jay and I kind of start to rev up for 2022. And so it's been really fun looking over past hikes, because it's interesting. Hikes can be difficult for different reasons. Sometimes it's like you're going straight uphill and it just sucks, because especially for me being short, like the ground's right here. And so having to go uphill, it's like 3 steps for everyone's like 1 step. So anything that's like crazy elevation gain is a challenge for me in and of itself. But sometimes it's like just crazy heat or just random conditions that weren't predicted. So for example, Masada, Israel. When I was living in Israel, I decided that it was a good idea to ignore all the locals' warnings that there was going to be a heat wave. And I thought it'd be fun to go hike Masada, Herod's fortress. And that's literally in the middle of the Judean desert, kind of close to the Dead Sea. It's within range. And I should have listened to locals, to say the least. It was so hot. It was 120 to 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It was like hiking in an oven. And it was crazy. And the thing is, so I went with a small group that I'd kind of coerced into going with me. And we were all just dead by the end of the day. There's this photo of me that I'll probably never post where I literally just collapsed onto my backpack. I mean, we were honestly struggling so hard with the heat. And from what I remember, it's been a few years now, but from what I remember, I drank 4 gallons of water in 2 days. And again, I'm 5'2", so that's insane.
That's
and I was hiking with a group of guys, and they drank, I mean, so much water. It was crazy. Yeah. So, and like electrolytes and stuff, like you have to kind of, you know, if you're in heat like that, you have to figure it out as you go, because we were not prepared for that. So that hike was a killer. And we also did not start at the trailhead. We started way down by the Dead Sea and decided it would be fun to hike up the highway and then through the Judean desert to the base of Masada, then up Masada, which is like this, like, it's not a mountain, but it's a fortress. So it's up this like sand fortress basically, and then start the hike. So by the end of it, we were just honestly dead.
So you essentially said, like, someone said, hey, you want to hike Masada, and you said bet, or challenge accepted, like, and then you made it even harder on yourselves by starting at the Dead Sea.
And then that night we camped in hammocks on the shore of the Dead Sea, and which is incredible, one of my favorite memories. However, I remember waking up, I mean, I didn't really sleep, so I kind of was off and on falling asleep. And I just remember looking at my watch and everything. It was 2 a.m. and it was like 110 degrees. So it was just crazy. That whole trip was insane.
I've been there. Sleeping in that type of heat is the most, it's one of the worst things ever. It's like, that sounds very dramatic, but it really is pretty terrible. Like, there's just, I don't know. You just can't get comfortable, especially in a hammock. I've never understood how people can fall asleep in a hammock. So I'm surprised you were able to. Yeah.
Wait, what kind of hammock have you? Like, what kind of hammock do you have?
Well, I've never utilized a hammock in that fashion, but like I've had friends who, like when we were training in Quantico, Virginia, the only thing around you is trees. So one of our friends brought a hammock to one of the field events for one of our, like missions or whatever. And he put a hammock between 2 trees and slept like that. And I tried it out and I was like, this is the most uncomfortable, awkward position ever. I don't, because like you can't roll over and you can't like, get a solid position, but you're also, your body is like this, it's not, it's not like flat. It's so frustrating. So I never understood it, but some people are like, they just fall asleep like that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, see, okay, I think like you're 6'2" or whatever, and I'm 5'2". So I think there's a difference there, but some of my friends who are guys and are like over 6 foot, they love sleeping in hammocks. So I was going to say maybe it's like, that you're tall or something, but for me, I can curl up in a ball in a hammock. So it's great. I love sleeping in a hammock. And I like tent camping. And anyone who's seen the video with Jay, one of my favorite ways to camp, honestly, is to just put a tarp on the ground. And like, I love that. That'll always be my favorite way to camp. My first camping trip in California was just a tarp under the stars. And so I think it'll always have a special place for me. So yeah.
That's great. That's in my opinion, some of the best sleeps that I've had, or like, nights of sleep that I've had, were on the literal ground with a tarp or some sort of for Marines. If you guys know the whoopee, I still need to buy a whoopee because I wasn't able to take mine from the Marine Corps. They made me turn it in, but your whoopee is like your little blanket.
A friend actually bought me one.
No shit, the like legit actual Marine Corps whoopee?
Yeah, a whoopee.
Well, then I'm gonna steal it from you during our you're gonna wake up one morning and be like, where the hell is my whoopee? I'm gonna have it all curled up. Yeah, exactly. So that's all you have, and then it's just stars, it's just literal space. You're just sleeping on the ground. There's nothing else except for you, your gear, and whatever. So it's an incredible feeling. I remember coming home from deployment and being uncomfortable in my like bed, in my nice, like I had a queen size bed, and I felt uncomfortable because I was like, this isn't the ground, which sounds absolutely insane. And I were exaggerating. I kid you not, it was so weird. And I like I said, I felt super uncomfortable that I wasn't sleeping in filth. No, I'm kidding.
No, I get that.
Yeah. So
after some backpacking trips, it's the same way.
Yeah, I don't know, something about it. It just really is different. But also, I think too, like with the amount of effort that you're putting forth on those camping trips, on those hiking expeditions, on those, whatever you do, when you fall asleep at night, you crash hard. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that night after your hike in the 120 degree weather, I guarantee, like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you probably slept like a rock that night.
Oh,
because of just, your body just has to recover.
Yeah.
And so whether you're on the ground or in a hammock or in a bed, for me, I always felt like the ground was just so much more comfy.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Insane,
yeah, and it's funny because every hiker will say something different about that. Like you said, some people love hammocks and they just want to sleep in a hammock. Some people love tents. I feel like it's fewer who are just like, just put me on the ground. Like, I love it. And that's why it was so much fun to throw Jay into that, because I thought, well, that's a great challenge, but I will always love that. And so, yeah, like you said, after we were out in Masada for a few days, we were in the Judean desert for a few days. And so coming back to my apartment, I lived in Tel Aviv, and coming back to my apartment, I crashed hard.
I remember, and I forget if it was a picture or a video, but I remember seeing Jay like half asleep, half awake, like coming out of his sleeping bag or something.
Yeah.
You guys were just in rocks or on the ground or something.
Yeah.
Was I not dreaming that, or that's an actual picture?
No, that was legit. So
okay, all right.
What happened was, we set up camp, and he asked me, where's the tent? And I was like, oh, I did not bring one. And so we videotaped. And I did not tell him until we were literally at the campsite. There's no turning back. So we videotaped us setting up the camp and everything. And it's literally just us putting up, tarps on the ground. So being his first, from what I know, his first, camping trip, at least in a long time, it was quite the experience for him. And being out there, you can hear all the sounds, so you hear like the jackrabbits, and you hear coyotes and everything, any movement. Well, what I didn't consider is that anytime I moved, it would freak him out. So we're kind of like, we're in this flat area. Yeah. And I was kind of on an elevation because I love to sleep like elevated if possible camping. And he was like slightly elevated. Well, he's like slowly sliding down. So all night long, I'm listening to him sliding down. Yeah. And I'm thinking, shoot, I should have put him on flatter ground, but whatever, he's fine. And then for me, I didn't slide at all, but I would roll over and stuff. And so anytime I moved, I hear him like stop and get his flashlight and click it right in my face. That was all night.
Oh my God.
And then anytime like anyone like or not anyone, but anytime anything moved in the desert, same thing, like the flashlight came out. It was so cool.
See, you would have gotten shot if you pulled your flashlight out. Like, if you were, at least for me, if you were to pull out a flashlight or like a red lamp or a red headlamp,
yes, yeah,
maybe your red headlamp would be acceptable. But even still, red light is very, especially in like Iraq, Afghanistan, 29 Palm. I mean, like anywhere that is desert with just like no light pollution or any type of city or lights around it, red light can be seen from a pretty good distance. So even then we were like, yeah, no lights. So speaking of which, I know Noel Void said something up here. By the way, Kaylee D, hello. So great to see you. Thank you for swinging by. Kaylee, I would love to meet you at one of these meetups. I heard you got to meet everyone in Arizona, and I'm so jealous. But we will definitely meet up soon. So thank you for coming by. But yeah, Noel Void was saying, I always remember being in the middle of nowhere Afghan and putting on NVGs for the first time and seeing the night sky. Holy shit. Yeah, man, it's a holy shit moment. It's for real when you look up and you realize like how small you are, you know, in the grand scheme of things. And Dave says, after humping 20 miles, the ground is a blessing. I've said it better myself, 100%. But yeah, the animal noises and so first of all, let me just say the sliding down thing is so like I remember falling asleep, waking up the next morning, and being in a completely different area than when I slept.
Oh my gosh.
Felt like I went to bed. Or like you'd wake up and you'd be like next to your friend or something. You'd be like, how the fuck did I get over here? So I tend to, I guess, move a lot, but I don't know if that's necessarily because of the angle that I was on. Because we were sleeping on hiking, like on mountains, or we'd sleep on in 29 Palms, everything is fairly flat, especially out in like the desert training areas. So that wasn't too bad. But yeah, like when we were in Bridgeport, California, we were doing winter survival training, and the whole time you slept, it was like you're either waking up with snow in your sleeping bag, or you were waking up like 20 feet down from where you originally started.
Wow.
And we're now somewhere else. And like a rock stopped you, you know, something like that.
That's crazy, which I love Bridgeport, by the way. So funny to me that you guys are out there, because it's one of my favorite places to stop when I'm in the area. Up and down 395, I love Bridgeport.
Which, this is another reason why it's funny that we're talking about this, because while we were hiking through Bridgeport, we realized that there were like little cabins and nice little benches with a fireplace around it. As we were like hiking through these trails, and Bridgeport was seriously, like you said, one of the most beautiful places I've hiked through. But you can't enjoy it when you're in a space of like, hey, we're training for winter survival, or we're training for our deployment or something. It's just a totally different mindset. So going back, I think I would love to go back just to hike as a civilian and enjoy the beauty for what it actually is, and not like the hell that we thought it was. We should
consider that as one of the locations for a hike then, because Bridgeport, I mean, I've gone to Bridgeport countless times at this point. Took Jay through the area, and it's just, I will go back as many times as I can.
And the last time that you and Jay met up after Vegas, where was that again? Was that in Nevada, or was that Arizona? I forget.
Yeah, it's all blurring at this point. The last time that he and I met up was in Florida.
Well,
I want to say,
and that was for the meetup though, right?
Yeah. Do you mean for a hike?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that was the Nevada, California, and then we've done some small ones in Florida. But as far as like the big hiking trip, that was the Nevada one, or I say Nevada, California.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would be. I would think it would be very unfortunate if I didn't get to hike with you guys. If you came out to California, I would never forgive myself if I didn't at least come out and say hi. But that would be really cool to put a Bridgeport or a High Sierras or something on the list. But I also know it has to, like with your schedule, with Jay's schedule, it's going to be hard to kind of coordinate that, but we'll figure something out.
And the drive for you, it's a bit of a drive.
It's worth it. I've done much longer drives, and I mean, to go see the guys in Vegas, when I did that was a 6-hour drive, 6.5-hour drive.
Gotcha.
Totally worth it. Super easy. And I think Bridgeport from me is actually 6 hours north of California.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Well, and it's such a pretty drive too. And there's so much, like, have you ever just stopped along 395? There's so much to do. Have you ever stopped at some of the lakes in the mountains?
No, actually.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is going to happen. I'm going to have to take you up 395 because there's so many lakes, so many cabins, so many beautiful little like hole in the wall restaurants that have just these phenomenal people, phenomenal food, aspen groves, mountains, alpine lakes. I mean, it's like amazing. So at some point, 395 is literally like since I was 18, I've been in love with that area. So that'll have to be a thing.
That sounds like so much fun. And you could also probably do, if you and Jay drive that, or if I meet you guys and we drive that or something, whatever you guys end up doing, filming that would be super fun as well, like going to each one of these locations.
Absolutely.
But what I'm really excited about that you mentioned was food. No, I'm
Yes.
the little
Now we're
hole in the
talking.
wall restaurants that you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, let's talk about food on some of these hikes. I would recommend the Mountain House packs. Is that what you guys were eating? Those or what were you guys ending up doing? Okay.
So since we were within reach of towns, so we were able to get a cooler for the camping trip. I decided that since I was throwing Jay onto the ground for the night, I would at least feed the man some good food. So we got steak.
So nice,
so we actually had like full-on steak. And then we had a breakfast that I attempted to make and failed miserably, because one of the things about camping out there is like at night it's freezing, but you're in the desert. So in the morning, as soon as the sun comes out, I mean, it's blistering hot. And so we were midway through making breakfast when it was sunrise, and it was suddenly just so hot that both of us were like, you know what, it's not even worth it, which was great because my cooking sucked anyway. And I was like, crap, I don't want to feed this to him. So at the end of the video, actually, there's this segment where I'm like throwing, and this is breaking every camping rule. I'm fully aware of this and I just don't care. I threw all of this terrible food into the fire and just like burned it all to like smithereens because it was so bad.
Why is that a party foul for hiking?
Animals. Draws on animals. It's more like negligence if you don't if you just throw food and you leave it. But I mean, it was burned to smithereens, just to set that record straight. So,
you're like, just to be very clear to the hiking community.
Because they'll eat you up. One of the things too is I don't think that animals would even eat the breakfast that I made. It was so bad. So anyway, but the steak I made was good the night before, and then he had a couple of Mountain House, and then he had this pizza that he had bought that was like a freeze-dried pizza. And it was a gag reel in the video because my food smelled bad, but this pizza smelled worse. And he was so excited all day long as we were hiking. He was like, I just can't wait to get back and eat that pizza. And that night, as soon as it's all in the video too, as soon as he cooked it, just the smell, I was like, man, this is going to mean like more wag bags for sure. And sure enough, he was like, I can't even finish it. It was gross.
Oh man, you know what's so interesting about that is that even the MRE, I don't know if you've ever had an MRE before.
Oh yeah,
I know what those are.
Yep.
Even there was a new MRE that just came out like right before I got out of the Marine Corps, and it was like a pizza MRE, and it looked almost like a Lunchable where you have like just the bread, and then there's like the marinara sauce that you can spread on it with like a little bit of grated cheese or whatever, and you heat it up in your little heat pack that comes in the MRE. But from what my friend, I never had it before while I was still in, but all my friends who had it said that it was like one of the worst ones. And I was like, what the hell, dude? Like pizzas should be so simple. You would feel like it's just bread, sauce, and cheese. Like that sounds amazing, you know?
It's like soggy though. Like the one that Jay made, it was a soggy. It didn't even look like pizza at the end of it. But there's a company, Peak Refuel, they're based in the USA. Talk about good freeze-dried food. They're 100% meat. They don't do any of the crazy crap that other companies do. And they are high quality, almost double the protein of other meals. And I mean, they are just a staple. They're really, really good.
That sounds amazing, especially with the nutrients that you actually need. Because
when
I'm thinking about the MREs, you'd look at like the nutritional facts, and it's just like calories, it's empty calories, but it's a fuck ton of because in one MRE essentially, or the way that they look at it is like if you're in crisis, if you're in a mission, or if you're out, one MRE should last you a day. Whereas like some of my friends would have 3 a day, and it's just but you'd still lose weight because you're constantly moving, you're constantly running or hiking or doing something that requires you to burn calories. So I mean, it's the reason why you're so lean, why you're so, tiny, is because so much of what you do is so like physically demanding. Climbing, hiking, all that good stuff. So I think that's the reason why MREs have those, just that absolute calorie dump, but it's
Mhm.
not like you're not getting anything good. So that's
No.
cool that company has actual like protein and good
Yeah.
stuff that you can eat. So
Yeah, I'm going to do a review for them on Jay's site pretty soon, his Jay Walking the Planet site,
ooh,
because
okay.
they're great. And they're USA based, so right now, I mean, that is great. But it's interesting. One of the things that I learned just from hiking and observing people is, they can say, oh, yeah, one MRE should fill you up for the day, which, by the way, is crazy because you guys are like big guys doing a lot of physical labor. So it's like that, what the hell? But for me, even like my base every day, I'm a snacker. So I'm like the small meals constantly. If I don't eat constantly, like Jay can attest to this, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. And I do think it's just like having been a route setter and hiking and stuff, like I just need fuel all the time. And so hiking, it's double that. Like I really do need like constant snacks constantly. And so empty calories just don't do me any good. And they're just extra weight in your pack, in my opinion. Like you might as well, if you're going to carry the weight, carry something that actually, will sustain you. And like you said, in a survival situation, what is something that's actually going to help sustain you? And if something in your pack is not going to help you in that situation, toss it out. You do not need it. Especially if you're backpacking with an ultralight, plan. But anyway, it's different for every person. So for some people, one meal is fine. For others, it's like, no, you need to constantly feed yourself small meals as you go. So that's why I appreciate companies who are in the outdoor meal industry who actually like pack in the protein and, pack in the nutrients that you need.
Yeah. It's interesting that you talk about the pack and what that looks, the essentials, right?
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat, if you're watching this or if this sounds right. I'm trying to remember, but I'm almost 100% that the phrase that was going around while we were learning how to hike correctly, which sounds weird because most people just think, you just walk,
Yeah.
but there's so much more that you have to consider, and one of those things being your pack. So one of the things that they would always teach us is, of course, tight to the body, like as tight as you possibly can to the body.
Mm-hmm.
Have most of the weight on your hips if you can, not your shoulders. And ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. And that was really like, it was so simple, but, I would go, I would think, let me put in, I'll bring my phone with me or whatever. Maybe I'll bring some batteries too, or maybe I'll bring a book, and just little things that on their own don't really weigh a lot. And then I'd think about it and I go, man, this feels like heavy.
Yeah.
What can I get rid of? And it was actually really, when you think about it, and only putting essentials in your pack can make the world of difference, and it really will take off. Like any amount of weight that you can take off helps in the long run, especially when you start getting towards the 15-mile, 20-mile hikes that are like, after, you're feeling pretty good the first 3-5 miles.
Yeah.
Then you start getting towards like 10 miles.
Yeah.
And you're like, so each marker, you feel that weight more and more. But let's see. It looks like Dave says, don't carry meals, carry weapons to kill dinner. That's interesting. I wish we could do that. We, even though we did carry weapons for the Marine Corps, we never really killed any animals to eat. He says, I'm waiting for McKenna to do a gear review stream. Oh, that would be cool. It's interesting that you say that, because I would I'm already looking forward to McKenna, like you were saying, doing that review of that food on his stream, because I think that would actually be a pretty big hit. Soul Assassin says, don't your packs come with harnesses? So my pack, there are a couple different packs that the Marine Corps has gone throughout their many years of lots and lots of defunding, because the Marine Corps has no money. Let's just be real. Like the Marine Corps I was using NVGs from Vietnam era. Like my grandpa would have seen some of my gear and been like, I remember that. and that's not good. That
Wow.
shouldn't happen. You know what I mean?
It's not good.
So yeah. So the Marine Corps is literally using outdated gear from probably 30 years, 40 years ago. So one of the packs that has just been revamped, though, has a plastic frame. Their reasoning due to that was so that it would flex more with your body, allow your body to move with it. But one of the things that they do have is a hip clip, or a hip harness, I guess you could say, that wraps around and then cinches down tight onto your waist and your hip line. So that is like a godsend for Marine Corps packs. However, they're not very ergonomically, like, they're bulky. Like Marine Corps packs are just massive. Whereas I feel like more civilian packs, I don't know if you can attest to this, McKenna, but they're much more vertically
Streamlined.
Yes, like they fit the form of a person's torso or body. Yeah. Whereas a Marine Corps pack just kind of sits there. It's just this bulk, massive bulk. So I don't know. Is there like a pack that you would recommend, or have you used some in the past that you've really liked? What do the civilian packs look like as far as frames, harnesses, belts, straps, stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's funny that we're talking about this because literally on Jay's website, we're just beginning to publish some gear reviews that he and I both are doing. So I'm throwing gear at him, he's doing a review on it, and then I'm reviewing them as well. And one of the things, by the way, like disclaimer, I am personally shifting all of the gear that I can into USA-based gear. I don't have anything against the big brands, but just for me personally, I'm like, you know what? Patriot all the way. Let's go small businesses, USA made. And what's cool about that is there are some phenomenal like cottage businesses or cottage companies and small businesses across the United States with just amazing products. So literally today I wrote a review with products listed out, so that'll be up soon. Having said that, with backpacks, there is so much variety out there. It is overwhelming when you're trying to get into hiking. Lucky for me, when I started hiking, I had a group that I could, ask. They had a ton of experience. I could just ask my way around. But I've noticed for a lot of beginner hikers, when they're like, I'm going to go buy a backpack, you show up at REI or wherever, and they're like, here are 50 backpacks and all the options. And you can have this hip belt or this mesh, or do you want outer shell, inner shell, or blah, 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 blah. Do you want this synthetic material, or do you want ultralight? What's your purpose behind this trip? It's crazy. Some of that is marketing, and some of it is, just useful information once you actually know what you're doing. So on Jay's website, we're giving some recommendations for just beginners, like what are just inexpensive, good gear that will make it work for you, just as you're getting started, because it can be very expensive otherwise. But then for me, there's some USA based companies that I love that have fantastic quilts, sleeping pads, hammocks, backpacks, etc. UGQ, for example, they have amazing gear. And it's personal preference typically, and it does depend upon what kind of trips you're doing. For me, I do a combo of hiking and backpacking, so the lighter gear, the better. So I lean more on the ultralight. But if I'm just doing a day hike like I did with Jay, just whatever backpack is easy. So I'm not really sure if that answered your question, but basically there's so much out there that we're going to try to help narrow it down for people. And then for me, I do have some personal preferences that I just love.
That's absolutely brilliant. And I'm glad that you guys have taken, the fact that y'all have taken the time to do this is really, really beneficial towards not just those who want to get into the hobby, but maybe into this realm. But even people who are experienced might find because like you said, you're using US based companies. I know that a lot of my friends wear even I have a Nike hat, I have Nike clothes because the material is really nice. Or Under Armour is an incredible brand as far as their stuff looks great. It fits really well. And it's perfect to work out in. However, it's probably made in some sweatshop somewhere in an undisclosed location.
Right.
So
Yeah.
because of that, I think there are going to be people that are saying, you know what, I love hiking. I've been doing this for a while, but I am utilizing brands that I don't know where this shit is coming from. So the fact that you guys are doing US based companies is really cool, because I think a lot of people are going to want to try and hop on to that. So.
Yeah. And it's fun right now to be able to like pour resources into those businesses. So many of those businesses, I've worked with their customer care, and they are just really, really good people who, you know, love the outdoors, love this country. So I'm more than happy to pour my resources into them. And it's interesting too, like from a political standpoint, I don't know why so many outdoor companies decided to jump on the political bandwagon. But in the last few years, as I've ranted about many times, climbing gyms are far left as you can go, most of them. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of outdoor companies are the same. And some of it's from an environmental standpoint. That's just the hill that they want to die on. But typically it's far left. So for me, it's been a combination of that. Plus, just again, if you're outsourcing it, if it's made in China, I really don't have an interest in that. So the more USA based, the better. And I'm personally trying to channel more and more of my resources into that. So when we're doing reviews, we're keeping that in mind as well.
And what I find interesting about that is the climbing gyms that you talk about having a political agenda or feeling more left leaning is absolutely wild, in my opinion, that because now that we're seeing politics and political agendas being forced into everything, I thought, you know, entertainment makes sense. You're telling stories, right? Stories will always have some sort of underlying meaning behind them, or something like excuse me, some sort of like subversive type of you know, agenda to it. You know, there are Christian movies where there's like a Christian kind of subplot or something. There are movies about like, I don't know. I'm blabbering, but same thing with comic books. You know, like the stories are being told in comic books. Of course, there are going to be narratives or politics or something like that. As long as they're not beating you over the head with it, as long as it's a subplot, as long as it's something that enhances the story, it's fine. I understand that those things are going to seep their way into those outlets. However, hiking is one of the most like just genuine, authentic. How can people make this thing corrupt, or how can we make this more divisive? It's literally walking on a mountain. How the fuck is that political? You know what I mean? So, and that's why I'm always amazed when you tell me that, you know, about famous hikers pushing an agenda, or you know, that video that you showed me that was saying black like eyes. Black eyes.
Crazy.
To be very clear, McKenna did not say black guys. She said black ice.
Ice, I-C-E.
I-C-E, yes. Just to be very, very clear.
Thank you.
Black ice, which is indeed an actual video.
Yeah.
It's wild that something so minuscule and it's like me saying, wow, this hospital is, you know, why are all these walls so white? It feels like a hospital in here. What is that, white supremacy? What are you trying to say? It's too white or something? Like It would be something so just outlandish that it's like it's a term. It's
right.
You know, I can't even put words to it. So that is why I've never understood how that can seep itself into it. But sure enough,
they've done it.
Yeah, you're living proof of what you've seen in your industry. You know, which is so interesting. But.
It's interesting. Years ago, I thought the same thing. I was like, there's no way that the great outdoors could be politicized because, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. If you want to go into the great outdoors, you go into the great outdoors. You know, there's literally nothing holding you back. There is no victim card that you could pull. And sure enough, they have pulled every victim card with the great outdoors. So speaking like specifically climbing, there's this famous and phenomenal climber that I had the opportunity to meet. I followed him for years, and I have the utmost respect for this man's career and what he's accomplished. And honestly, the legacy that he has set in climbing is unmatched. So when I met him, you know, it's like meeting this just, you are really meeting a legacy, you know. And to watch the last few years how politicized he has personally made climbing, and to watch how he has taken this legacy and tarnished it with politics and tarnished it with literally telling people that they are victims because of their skin color or because of their whatever. It's such a disappointment to me. And so it's interesting as a climber, and again, I was a route setter, to be in that industry and realize just how the majority of that field has just kind of gone down the hole of politics. And they've done it like gladly, you know? So I don't know if you saw my Instagram post about that, but I finally was like, you know what, let's talk about this. So anyway, and there are some gyms that do stand up for America, but they're few and far in between. And it's sad because there's one gym, for example, July 4th, they put a flag out, and they got so much support from conservatives about putting the flag out. And I thought, you know what, that's great, but it's a little bit sad when we're sitting here going, oh my gosh, you have a flag, that's great. No, we're America. You know, we are the land of the free. So a flag should be no big deal. It should be everywhere, you know? So anyway, and I never wanted to bring my political stance into climbing. That was the last thing I ever wanted to do. But when they were shoving their political stance down our throats, I was like, all right, bring it. Let's go. So.
Of course, that's when you put your shield up, your shield, you get your sword and your axe and your shield, and you go, all right, you guys asked for this. You know what I mean?
Let's play.
Yeah, because like you said, you don't want. How in the world can you politicize something like that? And sure enough, they found a way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's so divisive, and it ruins the hobby, it ruins the passion, it ruins the just the love of that, because it takes something that doesn't need to be in that realm, and it does that. Talking about what you were, or going back to what you were saying about your one of your favorite expeditionary traveler climbers, yes.
Yeah.
I apologize for my lack of knowledge on this.
Vice versa.
No. So, with this climber, it literally breaks my heart, because I can feel what would happen to me if one of my favorite creators of a book, like of a comic book or movie, was the whole time was just all he or she was doing was just wanting to tell good stories, or wanting to create beautiful art, or wanting to just produce a good product, and then all of a sudden started to form a narrative. It would absolutely destroy me, because now you have all this stuff from that person. Like I've seen a lot of fans that have had books that they will rip or burn or sell, like collector's items that they just say, this person has literally ruined the hobby for me, because they want to do something so divisive and hateful and evil, that when before all they wanted to do was just make people happy. And I think it's really sad to see that. So I'm sorry to hear that happened to you and this guy, because it sounds like he was one of the larger names in the industry, and it's painful to see that. And I pray to God, like I have some artists and writers right now that I'm like, I don't even want to think about what would happen if, like, at some point, they turned and did something weird. And thankfully most of the guys that I follow like aren't on Twitter, and if they are on Twitter, they just post their artwork, and like that's what it should be. It should be like, here's like just like promoting my beautiful art, or promoting my story, or promoting this climbing trail, or climbing expedition that I did or something. Like just keep it simple and wholesome and lighthearted.
Right.
But
well, exactly. And we've talked about this too, but that's why I think for people like you and I, it was difficult to bring politics into like our passions and our hobbies because we didn't want to do that. When I started speaking about my views publicly in the climbing world, I had this guy just get all up in my face, and he was like, why would you bring politics into climbing? Blah, 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 blah. And all I did was send him photos of every entrance of every other climbing gym where they have like flags and stickers and whatever representing the far left. And I just said, like, it's not me who brought it. I'm just responding, And so anyway, it was an interesting decision to make,
And what's interesting too about that is, by the way, I apologize, chat, because I feel like that's the 30th time I've maybe said interesting, but it really is. These are interesting topics. So it's fascinating. How about that for a fucking word? It's fascinating.
Someone get this man a thesaurus.
Yeah, right. I'm on Google right now. I'm checking. Pull up the thesaurus. More words for interesting. But yeah, no, it's fascinating that someone would go, why are you being so divisive or bring politics into this when, like you said, so much of what we are responding, because what we're doing is responding. We didn't start this fight. We didn't want this fight. We are merely responding to what we are seeing. But what is fascinating about it is that we are responding with nothing other than the American flag. Like with this different flag and this different, political ideology or this riot or this, what would you call them? Hate group or whatever. All these different types of things that have been created over the past 10 years, 5 years. It's been pretty recent. All we do is we go, here's my stance. Fucking American flag. Look at it. Boom. That's all you need to say. You know what I mean? And for some reason, that is more offensive than all the bullshit that we see everywhere else. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just, it's hurtful to see that happen, but it's also, like you said, it makes you realize who is where,
Right. Well, the other thing is too, they expect us to take it. They expect that they can get all up in our faces, cross boundaries, cross lines, say whatever the hell they want to say to us. But the moment that you turn it around and you say, okay, here's my stance, if they lose it, it's just like, okay, hold on. Literally, this is going back to high school. You can take it, or you can dish it, but you can't take it. Right. That's been an interesting conversation in the climbing gym as well.
Well, let me, I've never been to a climbing gym. Apparently, you're going to take me to one of these.
We're going to change that.
And apparently we're going to change that. I told her I'm afraid that I'm going to either break the line, that's holding me, or that the harness is going to castrate me. So I'm not sure which one is going to happen first. But hopefully it goes smoothly. And if it does, you bet your ass we're going to do a video of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, and hopefully we don't run into any like dumb politicalization of anything. Hopefully it's very wholesome and genuine, which I know it will be because we're doing it. So, but let me get to some of these comments real quick. We have Slick Rick saying, when's McKenna starting her own hiking and climbing YouTube videos? The drunk trips don't seem to be very frequent. Well, I'll say, Slick Rick, for the drunk and McKenna streams, it's tough because they are in two different states. So I would assume that, scheduling conflicts like happen. However, I'll let McKenna speak as far as like the channel thing goes, if you want to speak more on that.
Yeah. So first of all, to speak to what Jay and I are doing, we literally just got this started late July. The first time we met was late July. I flew to Florida and we got started. So we're literally in the beginning chapter of this. And like anything, when you're starting something, you have this vision for where it's going, but then you have to take a step back and go, okay, now we're actually having to dig our heels in and put action to the plan. So we've actually done quite a few smaller trips, but planning 2022, we have quite the list coming up of bigger trips that we'll be doing. And in the meantime, we're kind of doing like these mini interim expeditions. That's been a lot of fun. Check out Jay's website as well. He's getting a lot of content on there. Like I was saying, we're going to be doing gear reviews. We're already getting those up. Stories. We're kind of digging into past trips that I've done as well, and past trips that he's done to Mexico and to other locations. So as we're getting this started, we're kind of like, okay, well, what are some of these stories, like crazy stories that we have? I've mentioned this a couple times. I almost got stranded on the island of Cyprus. There's a whole story behind that. And then Jay has some crazy stories from abroad as well. So we're filling that up in the meantime. And then come the next year, we have a lot that's going to happen. Jay is working his tail off as well. He's literally been on the road constantly since I met him. So as far as a channel for me, right now, it's probably mostly my Instagram. We're getting Rebellion Expeditions going as well. But 2022, we will see where that goes. But Jay's website and his Jaywalking the Planet are great resources for anything we'll be doing.
Hell yeah, that was one hell of a plug. That seemed so well rehearsed that it sounded like you had a script in front of you. That was beautiful.
That was
well done.
Right here.
Yeah, right. The what do you call it?
Or whatever that is, yeah.
The teleprompter. Yeah.
Teleprompter, yes. There you
go. Or the script that is given to former Vice President Joe Biden, who like reads it and goes, "Okay, these are the questions that you're going to be answered, or that you need to answer." While you're there. I
just got my earpiece, me and Jay, Yeah.
Yeah, he's just feeding you the information. But seriously, I'm extremely overly excited for what you have planned in the future with Jay. Not just with Jay, but just on your own. Because whether you do start your own channel or not, I think that what you guys bring to the table is so... it's so adventurous, and it's so kind of different than what people are seeing right now. I don't know. I just think it's a great idea. So, and it's something that can bring people together. Like comic books is a little bit tougher to reach that grand audience of people, right? Like I was having this conversation the other day with a friend of mine who also runs a comic book channel, and he was saying like it's a very niche audience, like there are only a few people who kind of understand what you're talking about. But then if you want to talk to a broad audience, the comic book pros might not be really geared towards that, so they might not watch it because they're like, I know this shit already. Like I don't need to watch how to collect or how to store your books or how to buy your books. Like they're like, I know this. But so it's a weird dynamic, whereas what you and Jay are doing is so like I said, it can just be very broad and reach a lot of people. So I think it's great.
Yeah, it's fun. And we talked about this last live stream, so I won't rant about it for too long, but it really has been fun, like combining, honestly, just freedom, patriotism, and love for America's beauty. I mean, there's so much beauty in the outdoors here. It's phenomenal. You could spend a lifetime traveling the US and never see it all. So combining that world and just kind of the exploration that we both love, with everything that he's already done and that he's continuing to do, with me jumping into this world for the first time. It's been really, really fun to kind of see this idea that we had in July just kind of explode.
Yeah, it's super cool, and it's really fun because the fact that you guys had your first expedition, your first hike after Vegas, which was like one of my first instances of meeting everyone and seeing everyone doing all that good stuff. It like lines up very well. Like it lines up very well with that. Sorry, I'm speaking of Drunk. I'm speaking with him right now over Twitter. So I have just sent him the link. I don't know if Drunk is thinking about coming on, but
hey.
What? Look at this. We are blessed. We are blessed with his presence.
I got my hat back.
Man? Yeah, you guys need your matching hats.
Come on, man.
There you go.
Did you?
I should have my reindeer antlers.
Oh man.
So I know Slick Rick for a while now. I know that character. I know that guy. I know that person. But just to clarify, the Jaywalking the Planet channel, I told McKenna anything she wants to upload over there, it's basically hers to do with whatever she wants. So that's the thing. If she didn't want to do her own, I could change the name. So like I could change it to People Walking the Planet or whatever. It doesn't matter. But like that's the arrangement we always had. And if you want to see more trips with me and McKenna, they cost a lot of money. So
I was
feel
gonna
free.
say
My PayPal is over there. Like, have at it, man. Like, shoot. If people want to fund it, I'll go. They're not cheap. You know what I mean? Like, so if you want to see more, go ahead and I'm gonna ask Max for like $8,000 so he could fund a trip. You know, I know he's got it. Look at that Superman in the back. That was 20,000, I think. And I'm just guessing, maybe 18.
Roughly around there.
No, like she's absolutely right. McKenna's absolutely right. We're trying to generate something awesome on the website for people to get tips and stuff, and it's going to be a whole another line, like a whole business thing that we're putting together that McKenna is actually spearheading. And we're just basically kind of using the Drunk3PO platform and bringing that over with the podcast and the people that I've met through Nine Line and Gina and all these things. They want to put all this thing together. And I think the biggest issue for us is the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just didn't want to stop in America. We wanted to go overseas. We had all these things planned out, but a lot of it, like some of the places I wanted to go where I wanted her to come along, like there's just like had pandemic issues and stuff like that. So we're just waiting, but next year should be really fun.
Well, thank you so much for.
McKenna's like dotting off. She's like, we can go here, no problem. We can go here, we can go here, we can go here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I check my Instagram. She's like, yeah, we'll take Jay here. And I'm like, I'm going to die.
Sometimes that's how I announce like a location.
I know.
To him.
I'm like, and then I'm texting her like, she's like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll survive.
You talk Star Wars, Jay. You go over there and talk your little Star Wars. I'll take care of everything else. So
my favorite was the tent and the High Sierras. Do you remember me tagging you in that?
Yeah.
That one is going to be great because the snow and sleeping on the ground are two of your favorite things, right? So combining them.
Oh, hold on. We got to do new adventures. I slept on the ground. We put the
not in the snow, though.
See, that's what scares me more than anything. Bears, one thing. Snakes, okay. The snow is going to be the worst for me. So,
yeah.
But we'll see. Also, someone had a great question about McKenna's own products. It's so funny. Yeah. We just talked about that on the phone yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so not to like give too much of a spoiler. Yeah, there it is right there. I actually, so through the connections that I have through different people, I actually have a company that makes bags that's interested in working with us next year. So we're going to look into that. I would love to have a McKenna line of gear. Are you kidding me? Like that'd be fantastic. It doesn't have to have my name on it. It's not about me. I don't know what she call it, whatever she wants, but like I think that would be fantastic. We could start small and work our way into bigger bags. But
we literally need to start small because there are not enough backpacks for short people. It's difficult to find a backpack that actually like doesn't swallow your back. So we'll literally have to start small. And then I think that we need a line for like guys over 6'2" as well, because it's you like the REI video. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to get like the last backpack they had that would fit your back.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yep.
What are you trying to say, Max? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying you're tall.
Oh, tall. Yeah. That's how they say it.
Yeah.
He's tall.
What was it? I'm big boned. I'm just big boned. That's all.
I didn't say that. Thanks, Max.
I said I'm big boned.
Should I hand you a shovel so you can keep digging? I mean, that's where we're at.
If I ever meet up with you in person, it's going to be literally me looking up at giants. This is going to be hilarious. trying to get selfies of the three of us. Like Jay and I have this problem.
Max ain't that big. I don't know what he's told you. I've stood next to Max.
I'm tiny. Everyone's big compared to me.
He's not that big.
Like you should see me next to my brothers.
I know you're little. Like you're an exception. You're like elf size, but Max is like below average size. Not that big.
I don't think 6'2" is below average.
There's no way you're 6'2". You're like 5'5".
I'm 5'6" on a good day. All right. So with some shoes on, I'm 5'6". I
have to shake his hand like this. So
okay, like, you know what's going to happen then, Jay, boys. I'm going to put this to the test, and you guys are both. Your heights. Let me make that very clear. Your height will be measured on this trip.
That's cool.
Fair enough.
Well, I already had the St. Augustine video. There was that where we stood next to each other.
Oh my gosh.
Me and McKenna, she just like the first part, really? She looked like she was like this high, and I'm like, like the elevation was like this, so she walked over and just disappeared.
So like, tiny.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's
what makes it crazy. It's like she's, very spider-like when she climbs walls and can get in and out of places really quickly, while she's got to look back at me and just like, bumbling snowman trekking through the woods, like knocking stuff over. I think the perfect video was when we were hiking in Cali, and we walked over the rocks over that stream, and she's just standing there waiting for me, and I'm like trying to balance. It's like right at the beginning of that hiking video. And I almost fell in the water, I almost drowned in the 2-inch water. And then then it was her turn, and she just, like it was nothing. Like, who's the elf in Lord of the Rings? What's his name?
Arwen or Legolas?
Legolas,
I'm more like a hobbit.
Yeah, sure. They stomp though, but you're very elegant when you just.
Oh, cool.
You know what you're doing. So
for sure. And
so
bags are something that we talked about actually next year. I think that'd be nice. She's be perfect to design stuff. And this company designs what you want. And they're cool. I can't give out their name, but if I said, everybody would know who they are. So it's pretty exciting since we started this thing to where we are now. So pretty excited. But I will say this. Never go hiking after 4 days in Vegas. Like never.
Yeah, I was surprised that you were able to do that, and we were just talking about how crazy it was that the Rebellion Expeditions line kind of, you guys had been talking about it, but really that first trip was right after Vegas, which is a lot of where a lot of us like met up for the first time, which was so cool. And well, first of all, let me just say thanks for coming on, man. I know that you wanted to kind of talk about the line, and I think it's great that we have you on with McKenna, because now you guys both get to talk about this thing that you guys are working on.
But she was getting a lot of good questions, and I just wanted everyone to know, like even here from me, that everything on that side of what I have belongs to her just as equally. If she calls me today and was like, I'd like to upload a video there, it's like, no question. She has brought life to that side of what I'm trying to do. And even the guy that does my web, everything, McKenna has brought like the best energy all around. And God knew exactly what he was doing when I was like, hey, I need someone to help. He could have given me anybody. He gave someone that kicks my ass. It's like, it's really,
well, Jay, when you were praying and you were saying, you were saying, God, send me someone that's going to, bring me on these hikes and challenge me and do some great things with this.
Yeah,
this
I made
brand.
a mistake. I should have said someone that likes to take drives.
Yeah.
That's probably what I should have done.
McKenna was
who's gonna take me on road trip drives through the mountains, not walking and sleeping outside. That might have been
not gonna happen.
Appropriate prayer.
It's like when you pray for patience, and you're like, and then
well, what's cool, and I know you guys have been streaming a while. So you could
Sums it up.
you could tell me to shut up, Jay. I bet we're talking like whatever. This is your stream.
No, dude.
But it won't bother me. But it was really neat because the first time we met, McKenna got a big taste of my world, especially with the theme parks, because it was so crazy because she had one place. She was over here at one place, and like every night I was staying at a different resort, and we had to like work through all that. And she's just like, dang. And it could get tiring. It was like, all right, we're going to go to this theme park and walk around. I was like, and I'm like, all right, McKenna, hold on. Before we're going to have fun, I got to record a video. I got to do this live. I got to do this. I got to do that. And she's like, oh, no problem. So boom, boom, boom. Then it's like, I got to check out of this resort. I got to check into this resort. Then we got to find something to eat. And we got to do all this. And like every night I was like, I was tired. It's like I couldn't even enjoy some of the places I was staying because it was like sleep for an hour, we wake up and we started the day all over again. But I think that was really cool for her to see that side, and then I got to see what her side, and that's how we put it all together somehow.
Yeah,
well, yeah. You get the behind the scenes. I mean, McKenna was just we were talking about this is how we got started on the topic of hiking, but how sleeping out in the middle of nowhere, you don't think about the factors of like you're gonna slide around or you're gonna hear a ton of animals throughout the night.
What's crazy? Like, I was so busy. It was like you saw me in Vegas, Max, and we were like, it was like meetup, photo shoot, podcast, meetup, live stream. It was like Gina's out there, and like everybody's like pulling at me everywhere I go. It was crazy for 4 days, and like you didn't sleep, and so I didn't even think I was gonna be sleeping on the ground in like 2 days. Didn't even think. And let me tell you something. Like we had like McKenna gets stuff done. Like we were supposed to stay at this original like campgrounds, and we couldn't make it happen. And I thought she had like a knife in her hand. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Ooh. So I stayed in the truck. I was just like, I'd open it up. I'm like, all right, you handle it. I don't really know her that well.
Someone stole our campsite. I don't even know if we really talked about that, but someone stole our campsite. To set the record straight, though, there was no homicide committed. So everyone's okay.
Thank God.
But yeah, we ended up camping in the desert, which was better because the storm rolled in up in the mountains. Okay, so on this note, though, Jay, there is a video that I'd love to upload to Jaywalking the Planet this week, and it's me flying down to Florida and setting your butt free in a climbing gym.
Say that one more time.
Climbing gym.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Like,
oh yeah, I think so.
She tried to get me climbing at Universal Studios.
Yeah, on the kiddie wall.
All right, so listen to this. They have a climbing wall at Universal Studios. This is this woman trying to kill me. So we go there, and I'm like, oh, look, a climbing wall. She's like, you need to do that. I'll record it. I'm like, why don't you?
Yes.
I was like, why don't you go first? And then she's like, that's like, she looked at it and was like, like I can do that with one arm behind my back, maybe 1 foot too. Like it was so basic. So I looked at the teenager holding the rope. All right, maybe she was 20. And I said, how much like what's the weight on that? She's like 250. I was like, see, I can't do it. I'm 260. And then the teenager was like, you'll be all right. And
yeah.
You're like, that's reassuring.
I was like, yes, do it. Definitely do it.
She's like, you'll be all right. And I was like, I got work to do. Like, we got like, let me lose another 10 pounds and then maybe we'll come back and get it done. But yeah, it was like one of those. And what was cool? Like, I got my Red Ryder BB gun back there.
Nice.
Not the one
as soon as
that
they found out I wasn't allowed to have it, or I was unable to bring it back. Someone mailed me one.
Yeah.
Like a real nice
one. So that's not his original.
Yeah.
Right.
This was better than the original. This one has the compass in it and everything.
Damn.
Well, it worked out.
R.I.P. the OG one, though. I'm sorry. I heard about that one, so it's a bummer.
Yeah. We'll have to
about that online.
When we're driving back through Nevada, we'll have to see if it's in that bush.
I think it was probably I think it was probably taken by some Tuscan Raiders or something that ended up.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah.
The stories, though, man, the stories.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna have even more, man. I mean, with some of the things that McKenna's been talking about for 2022, like obviously it's not something like as simple as a live stream where you can just kind of hop on. These things take so much planning and coordination and finances. So like, I'm just excited to see what comes out of it and what you guys end up doing.
No, it's true. You're so right, Max. I'm sorry, I did not mean to cut you.
No, you're good.
There's so much. Like, that's the other thing that I can't praise McKenna enough is when we first started talking, and I was like, here's my channel. I need to revive it. This is what I really want to do. I want to see America. I want to see the world, like different places. I want to explore. I want someone to guide me. And she gave me the best compliment that I've ever. She goes, "You are like the easiest person to work with." Because I literally was like, "Tell me how much it's gonna cost, and I don't even want to know. Like, just I trust you. Like,
nice.
I know
That
we're
was
gonna
your
get
first
a hotel."
mistake.
Yeah. And then like there's so much that she does that you know goes into it. Like, you know, it's the meals, the preparation, the equipment, the weather, all that stuff plays a part.
Yeah.
Making sure we get that good shot because she knows like she's taking her video and photos for websites and you know promotion for the next thing, and she just does all that while I'm just walking like breathing heavy, you know, like that's it. And so she does like so, and that's why I'm saying like there was no one better to coordinate. Even like in my backyard when we went to St. Augustine, she found all the places and different things. Now there was certain things on the ground that I did because I've been there before, but a lot of it was all her like planning that out. Again, it was just like, can you just do it? And because I'm like thinking about Star Wars or something, but she's so amazing when it comes to that. So I'm hoping, you know, in the near future, like these trips we'll go to some places and there'll be more than just me and her. It'll be a group, and who knows if we can get our country a little bit back to normal, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I texted her like 2 days ago. I was like, McKenna, I need to get out. Like, just anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, both of us. Yeah. So, well, I appreciate all of that, but you're definitely over glorifying it. Basically, I'm doing what I love and I get to mess with both of you while I'm doing it. So great for me.
Not so much me.
That's the cool thing is that you love it, and there could have been somebody else that could have been like, yeah, I can do that, you know, but not love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because they wanted to be apart with somebody, but of whatever. But it's been the perfect fit, and I couldn't be happier. You know, next year's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be wild.
So, well, I just hearing the way that she speaks about it, it's like how, like Jay, when you and I did the podcast the other day, and you and I were talking about comic books and movies and Star Wars, and like the type of passion that you talk about Luke Skywalker and Indiana Jones is the same passion that she brings to hiking and climbing and adventuring. And it's like, it's refreshing, right? You know, and so that's why I think so many people follow you and her for these rebellion expeditions, because like
not only that, but it's also educational because
for
like
sure.
The California thing there was a few times where I was kind of like, all right, let me be the man here and do something useful, because we're at the campsite, I'm not doing nothing, and which is fine, but she was building a fire. And the way I build a fire is completely different than the way she was building a fire. And I was just like, it ain't gonna work. Like, what are you doing? So then she goes, here, take the axe and just go cut something. Here, over there. Like, I know what I'm doing here. And sure enough, like, she got to work perfectly. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
There you go.
well, now we got to get the record straight. Are you more of a like doing this with the actual?
No, I'm
what
more
do you
of
call
a
Though
throwing
you're
a bunch of
flint.
sticks, shove a bunch of paper towel underneath of it, and throw some gasoline and light it on fire. That.
There
I
you
was
go.
ready for all that. I had it. I even handed her paper towel. I was like, just shove this in there and light that on fire. She didn't have to. She built this cool little fort with wood, and it just, I did do one thing though. Like the pan got hot, and I'm like, I can take the pan off the fire. So I made this thing with a machete and like this other, and I'm like holding it like.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Walking it off. I was like, I did that.
Yeah,
That's ingenuity.
anything cooking related, as both of you know, is one of the areas that I really need all the help I can get. So when we had the pan and just the handle was too close to the fire for too long, so hot. And I was like, crap, I have no idea how to get this off the grill or the grate. So yeah, Jay stepped up to the plate.
Nailed
I didn't
it.
film it though, but
No, didn't film it because I almost burned my hands and I was terrified you were gonna he had it balanced on the machete that he brought.
Nah, but we would have died if we had ate her breakfast in the morning.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know what that was, but it was a good try. And so,
was it eggs or was it like?
It was like, yeah, it was eggs. It was eggs with it was supposed to be eggs.
It was.
We tried.
It was so bad.
She had it on the pan and nothing was happening. And it was
just
like,
a raw, warm egg.
It was something.
It was so bad.
You're just kind of like looking at it like, hey, we ate a lot last night. I'm good.
Yeah,
let's go into town and get some fresh coffee. We go into town. I'm like ordering like these giant egg biscuits for myself.
Yes.
I'm like, can I get a bunch of those?
Yeah.
I was like, you don't even have to be kind about this. I know that this breakfast sucked, so we just tossed it and left.
It's so funny. Well, now we know that Mountain House meals have to be an essential on the packing list. If we're hiking with McKenna, at least.
Yeah, you guys never need to let me cook again.
No, she cooked excellent when she for dinner because I brought pizza in a bag.
Yeah, I was telling him about that earlier.
I heard how bad it smelled. Yeah.
Not only that, it really not to get gross, but it's like a corking mechanism for your intestine. It was brutal.
That's about as gross as you could have made that.
Yeah, that was brutal.
The way I referenced that was just I should have brought more wag bags, but thank you for that visual.
You know what's funny
I accidentally called it a WAP bag, like
the Nicki Minaj WAP bag.
Where that came from, but I don't know.
And he got my response to that on video.
They were like, no, I never said that. And
I was like, no, that was not me.
Say that. I was like, you did say that. I was like, wag. Yeah, different.
Those are two totally different things, I guess.
Very different, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a whole new world for me, okay? I was learning.
You know what's funny though is that wag bags. That's legit what we call that in the Marine Corps as well.
Really?
When we went up to Bridgeport, you got a ton of wag bags that you brought up with you because there was no once we went up into the mountains, there was no going back to base camp. So you were doing your survival training up there, and so wag bags were the way to go, especially because Bridgeport is more of a not reserve, but like civilians will go there to hike too. So
yeah.
That's the funny thing about MREs. It's like MREs will either completely stop you up, or the exact opposite. It's or you're having to bring thousands of wag bags. So depending on who you are, MREs will do that. But.
We did all right, hold on. See, now I've lost. The first day we went to the waterfall.
Yeah.
The second morning, what? We cooked a steak that night?
Yeah, so we cooked a steak after the hike.
After the hike.
Late that night, yeah.
That's right, because we were at the hotel. Okay, yeah. I got it. So
it wasn't really a hotel.
No. From the hotel, we did the big hike, right?
So, but it wasn't really a hotel. It was more of side of the road.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't outside. It was inside at least.
I like that place. It was
yeah,
nice.
it was one of the oldest like inns up 395.
Oh,
so it's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, I lost, like, this is a problem. My biggest problem with the Vegas, like hiking after Vegas, is I lost my shirts, my hats.
Yeah.
I didn't know where they were. I had to wear a Space Jam shirt in that video from Walmart.
There's nothing wrong with Space Jam, though. I mean,
the LeBron James Space Jam shirt.
Oh, you had? Oh no, you had the second Space Jam.
Oh. He got flack for that after the video too.
Oh, big time, man! Big
yeah.
Time. Well,
I was like going back and trying to explain.
We went to this Walmart in the middle of wherever, and I was like, I got to get a couple shirts because I can't. Like half of them are like disgustingly dirty from Vegas. They probably vomit on them, but whatever. And then, so I'm like, I go to the t-shirt section to grab stuff, and they had like 4X to 7X, and then small and medium. And I'm like, what kind of town am I living in here, man? Like, what is this? So I digging through all these shirts, and I'm like, I had a Ghostbusters one, I think, that was really a little too colorful, and then the Space Jam. So I was like, I'll just wear the Space Jam. I was like, it'll be funny.
Yep. Oh, so the one thing that I told him was, do not wear cotton. I mean, I told you a lot of things. I was kind of bossy, but one of the things I told him was, do not wear cotton. Cotton kills. And that morning, he shows up in a cotton shirt.
Well, I mean, the next hike will be different, though, right?
Well, what I'm hearing
everyone will keep getting better. So,
well, what I'm hearing though is, if we ever do any kind of like group rebellion hike, then you guys, after you have like your Mountain House meals and your pizzas, I'm gonna have you guys camp as far away from me as possible.
Yeah, that might not end well.
And I'm hiking upwind. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm just gonna be at the campfire while you guys go walking around. I'll be fine because I'll hold you guys back. I'm afraid. I will say this though, like everything, the bag that she got for me and like the equipment and the shoe, like everything was like beautiful. Like it was perfect. So. And
you broke in your shoes really well too, because I remember telling you to wear your hiking boots around Disney to break them in, and you did.
Yeah.
That can sometimes be some of the hard, like there was one instance where one of my Marines said, when you break in your boots, like bring them into the shower, wear them, like, and then walk around with them or something, or like get them wet and then walk around with them and then leave them out to dry, and that'll form to your foot or something. Have you ever heard that? Is that like just insanity done that. Or okay?
No, I've heard of people doing that. I've just never done it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, obviously I think the best thing just to wear them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sometimes if you're just putting those things on for the first time and you do a 5-10 mile hike, it's like,
it's brutal.
Blisters, tone it, like, oh yeah, it's bad.
Well, I spoke, like when I went to Georgia for the 9 Line event, I was texting McKenna. I was like, you need to be here. I was like, I'm not coming by myself next time. Like we'll figure it out. They put me in a haunted house with like Jake the Viking. I don't know if you guys know who Jake the Viking is. He used to work with Mr. Beast. So he's got over 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. And he was like my roommate. And then above me was Taz, Tactical Taz. I don't know if you know who that is. He's got over 1 million. He's a little chihuahua that wears tactical gear. He's got over 1 million followers on TikTok. So he's like a celebrity. Yeah. He was a celebrity everywhere we went. Everybody knew Jake. They're like, Mr. Beast, Jake. And everyone knew Taz. And I'm like right in the middle. They probably thought I was their business manager or something. But
hey, but guess what? You still sold more than both those dudes.
Yeah.
I outsold them all.
Yeah. That's freaking rad.
Yeah, they all knew me. I didn't really know them. Like Jake the Viking was like, dude, you outsold my shirts. I'm like, who are you? Jake the Viking. And then I was like, oh my God, I do kind of know who you are.
Yeah.
So no, it was incredible. But I was telling McKenna, I was like, the house is big enough for like 25 people. It's a giant haunted house, like in the middle of downtown Savannah, Georgia. Yeah.
You know what would be cool is to see, I'd like to see McKenna get behind one of those rifles that y'all were using out there. Because I think one of the videos that you posted on your channel, you were still at the range and you could hear all the guns going off.
I'm just walking.
Yeah, you're just walking behind it all.
And people in the comments are like, are you walking through a war zone, buddy? Yeah. It's like,
You gotta love that sound.
Well,
but,
here's the
man.
I was there by myself, and that was the first time I was at an event like that.
Mhm.
And everybody, which was crazy because everybody knew the Welcome to Rebellion shirt that was there, but they didn't know like it came from me.
Oh wow!
So I had this
Okay.
special and I didn't know because they didn't explain it to me. I had this special pass that they gave me when I got there, which basically meant everything I wanted was free. It was called the Gold Influencer because I was the #1 seller. So basically, people were selling a ton of stuff, but they wanted me to have it for free because they know, like, if I put it on my, if I take something for free, I'm supposed to put it
Right. And,
on
like,
one of my
promote it.
social media and say, "Oh, look what I got. Here's the link."
Man, I would have been like, is this ammo free? Is this gun free?
So
right.
I missed out on a lot of stuff because the last day, Jake and everyone, they're like opening up their haul. I'm like, where'd you get all that? They're like, oh, they gave it to us. Like, you had to go down there. I'm like, no one told me. They're like, yeah, they didn't tell us either.
No.
Oh, wow.
So I did get a lot of stuff, but it wasn't like the stuff that I wanted, like these wallets and these knives and all this stuff.
Knives. Oh.
I know. So that's why I was like, next time she's gonna go with, and then make sure be like, Jay, go get that.
Oh yeah. If they're giving out knives for free, then I will be like,
okay,
scavenging everywhere.
Yeah, they were like, I got this one. They were like these little.
Oh, okay.
That's tight.
Like that.
It's like a switchblade almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had these wallets in person. Oh man, that were like could stop a bullet. It was so cool. So
cool.
Got some Kevlar in it or something.
But yeah, it was just so cool. And then they put me in the helicopter. I was like the last one to go, and I'd never done that. I have to admit, I've never shot an AR before. So
much less from a helicopter.
I was gonna say, so that was your first time shooting an AR.
They sit around. They had us all around, right? They had about 50 people.
Yeah.
And only like 15 people were gonna go. So they had all these people, and they're like, not everyone's gonna go. And they go, the guy that gives the safety was like, you guys are here. You know what you're doing. I'll see you over there. I'll call your name out. And I'm like, I called John Bartolo, right? Big John Bartolo. And I was like, hey man, real quick, like, I know this sounds dumb, but an AR, like, do I just flip a button, like everything? And he just laughs. They call my name up. I'm sitting at the helicopter. You can see the guy in the video like talk to me in the back.
Yeah.
He's like talking to me because I'm like, I've never done this before. And he's telling me, he's like, safety here. And they're like, so they had the Olympic gold medalist go before me. It was a female. She had blonde hair. I can't remember her name. She's an American gold medalist shooter. She goes before me, and the helicopter goes away. And like the guy like that we're all waiting, he's like, everybody be quiet, because if you hit the target, it makes this loud bing. Like, everybody be quiet. So it's like bing, 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 bing. So she nails it. And then when I get in, they land, and they're like, the guy goes, you didn't even hit one, bro. You didn't even hit one. I was like, I just didn't want to like shoot my foot. Like that was like my
oh my God.
I didn't hit one, man.
To be fair, you're going after an Olympic gold medalist for shooting. That's not fair. That is so unfair.
Yeah.
But I'm shooting a gun from a helicopter, like, and they dip you in. So it's like you're strapped in, you have it. And then the helicopter kind of hovers, and like you see these big white targets. The guy taps you, which means it's okay to shoot. You turn off the safety, and then the helicopter, I'm like, like what?
You're just thinking about not falling out. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I couldn't believe it. What a crazy thing.
What a cool experience. I guarantee you no one has ever said the first time I ever shot an AR was from a helicopter. I think you may be the first one that can actually say
literally.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what a cool experience,
record of some sort.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The guy from Nine Line, like, he meets me after I'm done. He's like, you okay, man? I was like, yeah. He's like, you didn't hit a single one, bro? I was like, this ain't my thing. I don't do that. He's like, you got to get used to it, man. You keep selling shirts. It's like, we're going to have you out here every month. I was like, okay. So
there's another thing. You and I can go to the range.
I know. Like, I got to do. I'm in Florida. It's like they sell guns on the street corner.
I know. It's like heaven.
Just be like, hey, Billy, I need the 44 revolver. Yeah, I got one. There you go. Have fun.
When I was in Texas, like, you'd go to a pawn shop and you'd just be like, Yeah, like I'll take that one, and they're just
They
hanging
used
up
to sell
there.
them in
Like,
Walmart here. So
Yep.
yeah, it's
like it's
pretty
nothing.
crazy.
I will
mean,
say this, and I won't keep you again. I know you guys have been streaming forever. I didn't mean to hijack the stream.
no, man, we love
The
having you.
cool
Thank you.
thing from the Welcome to Rebellion, where they showed me all the homes that were built for veterans. It was so beautiful. It was like it was the last day, and I just was kind of like, they're like, Jay, look at these homes that, you know, because that was the goal. You know how I am. It's like I wanted to make sure that a lot of the money went to help. Like I'm fine. I'm not starving, as you could tell. And I saw these homes with these veterans living in them, and they're very small. There's a video of a sample on the Jaywalking Planet. They're about as big as this one room here. They have everything, but they're transitional homes where they get people help, a job, just get them back on their feet, where they can rest, they can seek counseling for addiction, for whatever they, you know, see doctors, and they just stay in it. And then when they're ready, they transition to the next place. And it was so beautiful. I wanted to record it, but then it was like I didn't know these people, and I just felt like I didn't want to run up into somebody's home with a camera. You know what I mean? And be like, hey, look at that. We did that. Like we did it was just kind of like I just really felt it in my heart, just like, just let them be. Like we just kind of drove through it, and it was beautiful to see what they're doing over there. That is the main reason why I picked Nine Line Apparel. I was offered this opportunity from 5 different t-shirt companies, thanks to Ryan Kennel and John Bartolo, and Nine Line was the best fit because of that, because of the way they help the veterans and stuff. So it was beautiful. So thank you everyone who bought one, and McKenna Modeling, and you know, it was awesome.
Well, no, thank you for sharing that, man. That is such a cool story. We had one of our first stories on here was a young girl who's 14 who did a mural for first responders and veterans and stuff. And it really is like refreshing and just so enlightening when you see people that are like for that cause, that are just so loving towards people who have served our country, whether that's in the military, first responders.
But they're getting a bad shake, cool. You know, and it sucks.
Yeah,
we're treating police officers like trash.
Exactly.
First responders terrible. Veterans, the veterans should never be homeless,
right?
Especially ones that served overseas. Are you kidding me? Like, get them the help they need. Like, whatever. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a country to see that. And this didn't, you know, not to get political or anything, but I'm so glad that my governor reached out to all the police officers in New York and everywhere else and said, we're going to give you $5,000 to move to Florida.
Dude, I heard
if they're
that.
forcing you to get the jab, or if they're like making it terrible because of all these regulations, just come to Florida. We need more cops. Yeah. And like, I'm like, man, that's my governor, you know,
he is
like,
that's
so cool.
Like that's my governor. So they're just
DeSantis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's just forgotten that police officers were made the villains, under the Obama administration. I'm not saying he's the reason, but it just seemed like that time, it seemed like cops. Yes, are there bad cops? Of course. There's bad grocery store workers. There's terrible people in this world.
Exactly.
Thank you, Harley. Yeah, I know this. This is one of my favorite trolls. And but you know, it's the way that they magnified a couple horrible cops that probably did horrible things, and not magnify the cops that are like working extra hours for free, going into neighborhoods and playing basketball with the kids and speaking to them at boys and girls clubs. And I see all that, you know, and doing all those things. And they don't want to magnify that stuff. These people just push these crazy agendas. So I'm glad like there's people like us speaking out, showing them love, and they see it, man. They see it. They see it, all of us. The veterans there, like I talked to a lot of them at Nine Line. They see it all, man. They're so appreciative of everything, and it's very warming, you know, to see. Harley said, "LOL." You know, I love you, buddy. You know, I love you.
Harley's Harley Dave's one of our favorite trolls on here. Yeah, he and I met up the other day. We didn't stream or anything. We just did like a Zoom call, and we just had a beer and talked and hung out, and you know, because he's also a Marine as well, a prior Marine as well, and it was just awesome to hear his story and hear what he's doing and finding his place here in this fellowship, you know, and we just kind of bonded over that. It was super cool, really rad guy. So
well, the thing that gets me is I got to fly in the helicopter and shoot the guns and go to all these events, but if it wasn't for people like McKenna, like you guys that are, I wouldn't have that opportunity, and I felt kind of like not guilty. What's up, Steph? But a little. Like, this wasn't me. This was them. Like, it was you. It wasn't me. It was you guys. And I don't know how else to, like, you know, that's all that stuff is like a bonus.
But we get to,
everything.
Yeah, we get to live vicariously through you. You know what I mean? And McKenna and I were talking about this the other day, whereas, like, I think with all of our channels, like, my hope is that when I talk about comic books, that people walk away talking about comic books. I don't want people walking away from my videos talking about me. You know what I mean? I'm insignificant in the grand scheme of things. I want people to, which, by the way, Jay, I got Punisher. I know you're a big Punisher comic guy. I think, oh, you got the, let me see. All right. I'm interested. Oh, Gilkman, what's going on, dude? Thank you for stopping by. Hello there. Great to see you, man. Thank you for being here. I don't get to see you too often, so thank you, my friend. Yeah, Jay has decided to come on the stream tonight and just say hi and talk about Rebellion expeditions and stuff. So, yeah, thank you so much. And Steph, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, we decided to rock the Santa hats. So McKenna's got some reindeer ears, but we couldn't find them, so she had to outdo us with her background. That's the only thing.
I know. Had I known, I totally would have had like their adorable reindeer ears, but they have bells. So I don't know if they would really work on a live stream.
The whole time you're just, every time you nod, it's just jingle, jingle, jingle. Or yeah, oh man, that'd be great. But yeah, no, to echo kind of what Jay was saying earlier, like it really is. We hope that I think the big hope for all of these channels is that no one ever walks away thinking, wow, you know, blah blah, like Jay or McKenna or Max, that it's always the source material that we talk about, that it's climbing and hiking and adventuring and comic books and movies, and because that's the stuff that we want to preach, that's the stuff that we love and stuff that we think connects people. You know, if I thought that I'm what connects people, I'd be fucked in the head if I thought that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not the one who brings, you know, people together. Maybe this platform, maybe what we do here brings people together, but the material, what it is that we're here for, I think that's what brings people together. And we're just a voice for that. So.
Yeah, it's really funny also, all these random things that we throw in here. So again, like hiking, climbing over here, and then you with comics, and then Jay's Star Wars. We're all over the place tonight.
It really is. And it's like
your description of this, what you're going to summarize it as.
Oh, I got to change the title now. We didn't even cover, literally I had 4 things that I wanted to cover tonight. We didn't even touch on 2 of them, which is fine because... this is even better. Like, you know, having Jay on here is so much fun, and maybe if I start getting bigger on the channel, maybe we can get him on here more often. But I know that he is a busy man. He's a busy man. So, but there was one thing that Jay had mentioned earlier, and I think that we were talking about a little bit with like the mural and stuff. But oh, look at that face. He's got the goods. He's got the goods, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the whole series all.
That's the first. Oh my god.
Yeah. All autographed.
All right. So for those of you who are watching, this is the Punisher series I was talking to you guys about earlier. His first ever series.
Yeah.
That came out in 1985. And Jay has the full run. It was 5-issue limited series.
Yeah, and I got the first one that came out. They screwed up and they put a 4-run issue. So this one's worth more.
Yeah,
it's a 5-run issue.
Because they had on the first on the first issue, it says
Yeah.
#1 in a 4-issue series.
Yep.
And then they jacked up because they were like, you know what, let's make it 5. And so so then they came out with 5 books. But dude, hell yeah. Thank you for showing that to us. That's
Awesome.
cool. Is that John Romita?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I
That
know
looks
him.
awesome.
Also,
That is
my
dope.
friend, I know you like Silver Surfer.
Oh,
I have Silver Surfer 1 through 20, but this one I just grabbed. This was number 4.
That's the 88 to 90s run, I believe.
Yeah. This
have,
is like that's number 8. You have those?
I have 1 through 25, so I think I have the same run that you have.
And then he did another run. The Punisher did is number 1. I got like 1 through 50 of these. So
Dude.
I just grabbed them out of my closet like real quick.
I love it, man. Yeah.
I
I have
those
my
are
dad's old
Surfer.
comics.
Yeah, McKenna needs to bring hers on. She her dad has a long box of comics
Yeah.
that they cracked open the other day, and she sent me some of the pictures, and she's got some good ones in there, man. It was pretty
I
cool.
don't think I could ever sell this first run. It was so well done.
No, man, that book goes for so much money right now. I wouldn't sell it. Gilkman says that's beautiful, Jay.
What's up, Thomas?
Yeah, I agree, Thomas.
Did you see Wayne's comment?
Oh no, no! Don't even get me started, Wayne. No,
Go for it, Max.
it's Orc Bork, or no, the last time it was like Orc Bork Dork Stork, but
It's a nice
Wayne,
Mustang in your avatar.
yeah, right. Wayne, you're forgetting the Y at the end, or the IE at the end of everything.
Why don't you show us?
Well, if you look at McKenna's Instagram, you can see a perfect example of how I lose my mind on these streams
Yeah.
and completely go into Swedish chef territory.
Yep.
But Ash says, thank you, Jay, for introducing me to so many great channels and people. Super grateful for New York and Orlando meetup. Ash is she's awesome. She's been on here for a few weeks now, and yeah, like I said, got to hang out with McKenna at the airport, and yeah.
Oh, you did? You got to meet Ash at the airport?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I ran into their family at the airport as we were leaving. Super fun.
Now, this is what comic. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. Remember these stupid things you could buy, like in comic books? It was like a tent, X-ray vision eyes.
And you would send in. You'd like,
have to like rip it out.
You'd send in the
and,
letter,
like,
yeah.
Crazy.
Do you remember the ads that were like, you know, for protein shakes or something, or for like, you know, muscle stuff, or like I forget what
They
it
were
was.
so
but...
fake and terrible. It was like some guys just super jacked, like
Yeah.
Rigno. Sea monkeys, yeah, they're in here. X-ray vision glasses. Why would we want that?
I don't know.
Well,
some
never
kid
mind.
might think he might. Yeah.
No comment.
Thomas says,
Polaroid
"Are you?"
Camera, crazy.
Thomas says, "Are you ever going to sell any of those, or do you keep them for collectibles, Jay?"
I probably would never sell them, but like if my friend Max was like, if he had like 1 through 10 and he was missing this one, I'd probably just send it to him. It's just in my
dude, you're
closet.
awesome. Yeah.
So
No, thankfully, I try to collect like the full runs of things. If I have extras, I think, or like doubles of stuff, I think it'd be fun to send those out, like you said, Jay, to like, you know, fans or people who are looking to start comics. Because even like McKenna, we've you know, I've got some Christmas gifts lined up that might include some comic books, and if that's the case, there's some like really cool ones that, like you said, have those old ads in the back that you can look through,
yeah.
or like when readers would send in their letters to Marvel or DC, and in the back it would be like the reader's corner or the mailbox or Stan's mailbox or something, and it was like all the letters of people that were like, oh, I love this book or whatnot. So yeah, it was pretty rad. Thomas says, I used to collect comics.
Autographed, I probably won't get rid of either.
No, man.
Unless I want to buy a car. I'm just like,
unless you want to put a kid through college or something. No.
Yeah. What's up, Thomas? I got to hang out with Thomas in Boston.
Yeah,
dude,
that's right.
Man.
And Vegas. I think I remember.
Yeah. That's right.
Thomas in Vegas. And he says, "Have a good night, everyone. Much love. I'm exhausted. Yeah, man. Get some sleep. Get some rest. Thank you for hanging out and stopping by, man. Much love from all of us."
Harley.
Yeah. Walking into the closet, don't fuck with me. I'm just coming in to get some books. Yeah, he's something else, man. He said some stuff on here that's made me like laugh out loud, like where I have to like take a break from the microphone for a second to laugh. But well, we are at the 3-hour mark, so and we just got done showing off some pretty awesome comics. So I'm gonna leave us on a high note. Jay, thank you so much for being here, man, and just for popping
no
in
problem.
and saying hi. And for everyone watching, thank you guys so much for being here. Like for everyone who stays for like the whole time, you know what I mean? It really does mean a lot to all of us, and you know, it just shows like how much you guys are fans of this stuff and how much you mean to us. You know, because like Jay was saying earlier, we hope that this stuff transfers over and that it's not about us. You know, it's not about the content creators, it's about the actual content, you know, and why we're so passionate about it. So, but as always, you guys are awesome. Catch us next week on Monday. If you guys have anything that you want us to talk about specifically, let us know. McKenna, do you have anything else that you would like to or say? Or
Yeah, per usual, I'd like to take a vote on who would like to see these two in a climbing gym. You will see that on my Instagram soon.
Oh boy.
Hold on. Max is like a war veteran. All right.
So surely he'll be fine.
I'm an old 5th grade teacher, man. I walk around Disney World.
Yeah. Has this ever worked with me?
Cold. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So we'll see.
It's a little disadvantage here. Like,
yeah, you just shot an AR from a helicopter, so you have literally no excuses with me.
All right.
Jay, do you have anything you want to promote or anything you got going on this week?
Yeah, I have some cool guests coming on the Welcome to Rebellion podcast. We're just trying to iron it out.
Nice.
Adam Kregler and just a few. One really cool guest that was in like some films and stuff like that. We're just trying to iron out things like that, and we're trying to get. It's Christmas time, so you know it's just a weird month for everybody's scheduling, and that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
That's pretty much it. I have a busy week this week. I'll be at Galaxy's Edge tomorrow, and then SeaWorld, and then Universal. It's tough. It's a tough life, Max. It's a tough life. I've got to try cakes, you know, Christmas goodies. It's exhausting.
Man, I feel for you. You know,
you should.
Our heart goes out to you. It sounds brutal. But you get those steps in, man. I mean, that must be super awesome to walk around those parks.
Steps mean nothing when you those candies, man. It's
like
yeah. 8,000 calories, you know. It's
They're so good, though.
Yeah, those steps are you just laugh at it. You're like, oh, you're going to try to walk this off? Good luck. It's going to take a month. It's one thing if, you know, especially now during the holidays when everything is sweets or everything is big food, it's brutal to say no. Wait. Did you just say big food?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like big meals, like burgers
you
and
just
fries
said big
and mashed
food.
potatoes.
He's from California, so you just have to translate occasionally.
I'm sorry. That was
big food for big guys, right? I don't know. Big meals, I meant.
Big food.
Yeah.
Make sure you have your big food, everybody.
You knew it. You knew what I meant.
You knew it?
No, you knew what I meant.
Did I? No, that's why I asked. What are you talking about?
Well,
I'll
like
have the big chicken, not the normal chicken, because I want big food.
Yeah, you get the XL at Burger King. You don't want the small size. You want
what
like the
large.
large.
To say, man?
You know.
The pizza in the bag was my first and last time witnessing big food. Hopefully,
yeah, same here. That was awful.
A brutal choice of meal.
I did it for the video.
Well,
Sure.
Well, as you can tell, a lot of times on this stream, I don't make much sense. I either start speaking like the Swedish chef or I start saying nonsense words. So
I'm so glad that you admitted that. So we were all wondering.
It's it's something that I
end the stream, man, before it gets worse.
It's something that I suffer from, so I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. You can, like I said, we're doing the Nerdrotic meetup on the 16th of December here down in San Diego. You guys can check out Nerdrotic's Instagram profile for more of the information, what time, where we're going to meet up. But yeah, I will be there. So if you guys are going to be out there seeing Gary, I would love to meet you guys. Come up and say hi. And then this
16th?
Saturday, 16th of December, we are seeing Spider-Man. So
very cool.
And then this Saturday I'll be on Comics Aficionados on the Thinking Critical channel. So I absolutely love that stream. So it's going to be awesome with Wes and the guys. So if you guys want to see some good comic book news and comic book topics, I'll be on their stream. But that is all I have. Like I said, guys, thank you so much again for being here with me. You guys are the best. I'm getting a lot of Trinity and the trifecta comments here in the chat. So it sounds like we may have to do this. Yeah, we may have to do this again in the future. But yeah. All right. Well, I'll let everyone go. Thank you guys so much for swinging by and catching the show. We'll see you guys next Monday.
Bye, guys.